My child, stop. Everything. I am not speaking to the masses. I am speaking to you. Right now. Because in this very moment, when you felt unseen, unheard, overwhelmed, maybe even forgotten, I need you to hear me clearly. I'm with you. Not later. Not just on your good days. Not only when you feel strong or holy. I am with you now, in the middle of your questions, in the center of your silence, in the very place you thought I had left. This is not just a message, it's a rescue, a reignition, a revelation. Today, let nothing distract you. Watch until the very last breath of this word. Because if you walk away too soon, you'll miss the sentence that sets your soul free. Your turning point is waiting, and I'm already here. My beloved child, before you even opened your eyes this morning, I was already near, not watching from afar, but leaning in so close that I could hear your breath and feel the silent questions forming beneath your first thoughts. You didn't summon me. I was already there. Before the world demanded anything from you, I covered your room with my presence, quiet and holy. While your dreams faded and the day began to unfold, I stood as your shield, your whisper, your shelter. You may not have felt me press against the atmosphere, but I did. I wrapped your space in invisible comfort. I watched as the weight of yesterday tried to creep back into today, and I said, "No, not this morning. This child is mine, and I am with them." There has not been a single sunrise that didn't bear my fingerprints, not one breath you've taken that I didn't sustain. I am not a distant God waiting to be invited into your chaos. I've been here all along, in the middle of your mess, with sleeves rolled up and heart fully invested. I don't need permission to love you. I chose you before you knew how to reach for me. I saw you turn over in bed, wrestling with heaviness before your feet ever touched the floor. You thought it was just another hard morning. But I saw the battle in your mind, the lies trying to gain ground, the fear trying to whisper louder than your hope. And so I hovered closer, not to scold, not to question your faith, but to remind your spirit in its most fragile hour, I am with you. When you reached for your phone before your Bible, I didn't turn away. I watched over you still. I knew what you needed before your prayers even formed. That's why I surrounded you with the kind of grace that reaches even into your forgetfulness. I don't dwell in temples built by hands. I dwell in the rooms where your tears fell, in the silence where your soul ached for peace. I have never needed a grand invitation to be Emmanuel, God with you. That's who I am. And this very moment, this breath, this thought, this divine interruption, is me reminding you that you've never been alone, not for 1 second. The darkness might have hidden me from your eyes, but it never hid you from mine. My beloved, you've walked through days that felt longer than the hours they held. You've carried yourself through corridors of quiet that echoed louder than any noise. And in those moments, when your strength faltered, when your knees buckled under invisible burdens, I was right beside you, not behind you, not watching from above like some far-off observer, but beside you, step for trembling step. You didn't realize it, but you weren't pacing those nights alone. When you walked the floor in frustration, whispering prayers through clenched teeth or no words at all, I was there, pacing with you. You never took a single step that I did not match stride for stride. You thought the silence meant abandonment, but child, that silence was my hand gripping yours tighter, my presence matching your pace. Your slow walk through sorrow didn't disqualify you from my nearness. If anything, it invited me deeper. I walked with you when the doors closed without explanation. I stood with you in the hallway of not yet, in the rooms of almost, and the valleys of what now. You assume that my presence only showed up in the victory march, but I have been just as present in your limping. In fact, some of my most intimate encounters with you have been in your confusion. I saw how you looked around for evidence of my voice and found only silence. But silence isn't absence. And stillness doesn't mean I've stopped walking. My child, I've been orchestrating outcomes with steps you never heard. I move in the quiet, behind the curtain of your understanding, arranging divine appointments, routing the weapons formed against you, and removing obstacles you never saw coming. The very air around you has been saturated with strategy, and while you were questioning, I was preparing. That sense you've had, that something is shifting, it's not your imagination. It's your spirit picking up on the echo of my steps beside you. Every detour had direction. Every delay was drenched in divine design. You may have been walking, but I was the one sustaining your path. Remember the nights when you collapsed into bed, too exhausted to even say, Amen. I counted that as worship. The way you kept showing up, half healed, half hopeful, but still holding on, that moved my heart. Heaven never required perfection to send him. I only needed your yes, your surrender, your willingness to take one more step even when you didn't feel me. And you did. I did it again. You have it. You faced the day, trembling maybe, but trusting still. I've been measuring every mile of your journey, not by success, but by surrender. And now, child, the landscape ahead of you is about to change, not because you arrived, but because I walked you here. So when you asked where were you, I answered now. I was in every aching breath. I was in the silence, the solitude, the space between your questions. I was the reason your faith didn't fail, even when it flickered. I was the extra breath you didn't know you had. The reason your knees bent but didn't break. The still small voice when your thoughts screamed louder than truth. My child, I'm not watching from a distance. I'm walking in your shoes, standing in your storms, and whispering strength into the parts of you that forgot what peace felt like. You are not walking alone. You never were. And this next stretch, is where you will begin to feel the nearness you've only believed for. You have searched for signs, scanned the sky for signals, and begged for something, anything, that would sound like me. I know. I saw you scan pages of scripture hoping for a verse to leap into your lap. I watched you scroll, hoping a word would hit your heart like lightning. And when nothing stood out, when the noise around you only made the silence within louder, you began to wonder, where is God? You assumed my quiet meant withdrawal, that my stillness meant disinterest. But oh, child, how little you knew what I was doing in the silence. You see, when I am quiet, it is never passive. My silence is strategic. My stillness is surgical. While you were waiting for me to speak, I was working beneath the surface in dimensions that defy language. I don't whisper when I'm absent. I whisper because I am near. And I go silent when the next thing I'm building for you requires secrecy. You don't shout battle plans to the enemy. And I don't announce miracles until they are mature enough to manifest. Even when you felt like your prayers hit the ceiling and fell back down like dust, I was gathering every syllable. Every groan you released into the dark was collected in my hands. You didn't know it, but your silence became the sanctuary where I did my deepest work. You thought I forgot, but I was finishing. You assumed I left, but I was leaning in. There are answers you asked for 2 years ago, and I've been building the delivery vehicle ever since. You thought I ignored you, but I was refining the environment so that what I release will last, not just arrive. That's the thing, child. Quick answers are easy. Lasting fruit requires preparation. You didn't see the roots growing because they were underground. But underground doesn't mean undone. It means hidden, protected, covered until it's time. You weren't denied. You were shielded. You see, my beloved, even your sighs were sacred to me. When you stood at the sink, washing dishes with tears threatening to fall, I was standing right there, collecting them. When you sat in your car and exhaled a breath so heavy it could have crumpled a mountain, I was in that exhale, too. I never required polished prayers. I only ever wanted honesty. And the truth is, even your silence spoke volumes to me. That's how well I know you. You didn't need to perform to catch my attention. You only needed to be present. And child, you stayed. You remained in the room even when I seemed to be missing. And that's what heaven recorded. Not your eloquence, but your endurance. Not your poetry, but your presence. And now that the silence is shifting, now that the veil is thinning, I want you to know, I never stepped away. Not for one moment. So when you couldn't trace my voice, you were meant to trust my presence. You were never waiting alone. I was shaping the answer while you were holding the question. I was molding the miracle while you wrestled with mystery. You thought the silence was punishment, but it was protection. You feared it was evidence I forgot, but it was confirmation I was focused. And now the silence is beginning to hum with holy momentum. You will begin to see it in conversations, confirmations, even coincidences that aren't coincidences at all. The delay is breaking. The silence is stretching. And what's emerging through it will carry the unmistakable fragrance of divine strategy. You will look back and see that I was in every quiet moment, every paused plan, every closed door. I wasn't just near. I was crafting the kind of story only heaven could write. And it begins now, not with noise, but with the undeniable awareness. I have never been absent. You've walked through days where it felt like your presence didn't matter, where rooms grew louder but none of the voices seemed to hear the ache behind your silence. You smiled when no one noticed the tremble behind your lips. You nodded when your soul screamed for someone to ask, "Are you really okay?" I saw it all. Not one moment of that invisible ache escaped me. The pain of being surrounded yet unseen, applauded yet misunderstood, celebrated publicly but crumbling privately. I was there in every second. I stood beside you like a silent shield, taking the blows you didn't know were meant to break your spirit. While others misunderstood your stillness, I knew it was survival. They heard silence, but I heard sentences. They saw distance, but I saw depth. My child, I don't need explanations to understand you. I created the blueprint of your soul. I don't just read your face. I interpret your tears. I don't just listen to your words, I translate your silence. There were times you tried to express what you were carrying, but the words tangled, the thoughts fumbled, and the message came out wrong. You felt even more alone. But I, your God, took those broken words, those unfinished sentences, those sighs laced with sorrow, and I translated them into holy intercession. What you couldn't say, I still heard. What you couldn't pray, I still answered. I didn't wait for eloquence. I waited for honesty. And beloved, you gave me that in full. You thought no one understood your heart, but I did. When you laid in bed with your eyes open and your spirit shut down, I was whispering peace over your mind. When you stood at the edge of conversation, overlooked and overburdened, I stood in the circle beside you. You didn't see me, but I was the strength behind your patience, the grace behind your restraint. You didn't lash out. You didn't give in. You stood still, and that stillness became a sound in heaven louder than applause. I know what it means to be misunderstood. I too stood in rooms where those I came to love labeled me wrongly. I was called everything but what I truly was, Savior. So believe me, when you feel misread, misjudged, mislabeled, I not only understand it, I redeem it. You weren't ignored. You were hidden by me. I hid your depth from those who couldn't handle the weight of your calling. I kept you covered so your spirit wouldn't be crushed by careless hands. There were people who tried to define you through filters I never placed on you. But I have always seen the real you. The one who weeps quietly in worship. The one who keeps showing up when quitting would be easier. The one who forgives silently, loves deeply, and obeys without a spotlight. You are not invisible in my kingdom. In fact, I have carved your name into the foundations of what I'm about to build next, and that foundation is unshakable. So hear me. When the world didn't understand your value, I did. When they underestimated you, I was establishing you. And when you felt the loneliness press like a wall, I stood closer than your shadow. Even now, I am translating the groans of your soul into declarations of deliverance. I am rewriting the narrative written by misunderstanding and replacing it with a revelation of who you really are. Loved, chosen, known, held, and fully understood. I am the God who hears between the lines and loves between the wounds. You are not hard to understand for me. You are my delight. And every unspoken cry has become a catalyst for what I'm unfolding next. There are things you've said only in silence, secrets spoken through sighs, confessions whispered into pillows at 2 a.m. when the house was quiet but your thoughts were not. You never said them aloud because you didn't know how. Because even the people closest to you wouldn't understand the full ache behind your words. So you buried them in glances, smiles, small talk, camouflaged pain in politeness. But I heard it all. My ears are not limited to sound, and my attention isn't divided. Every whispered why, I caught it. Every unspoken how long, I recorded it. You were never speaking to the air. You were speaking to me. And child, I never missed a single word. Even the smiles you wore like armor, I saw the war behind them. Others saw composure, I saw the cost. They complimented your strength, but I saw the tears you swallowed to keep from falling apart. I was there when you showed up for others with kindness, even when you yourself felt empty. I watched how you gave generously while wondering if you'd have enough left to get through the week. I saw how you encouraged others while silently hoping someone would encourage you. And I want you to know, I counted every sacrifice. I treasured every small decision to still believe, still serve, still love, still stand. Heaven was not impressed by the performance of others. It was moved by your perseverance. And I want to make this clear. You were never invisible. You were irresistible to my heart. You see, I don't look at people the way the world does. The world rewards visibility. I reward faithfulness. The world celebrates platform. While others overlooked you, I was writing chapters of legacy through you. You were not waiting in vain. You were being watched, not by spectators, but by angels, by heaven's court, by me. You were the center of divine orchestration that you didn't even realize. While you were questioning your worth, I was preparing a stage for your breakthrough. I have been positioning the right people, moving circumstances, opening heavens, aligning timelines, all around the echo of your whispered prayers. You thought you were forgotten, but I was framing your future around every single one of those hidden moments. So breathe, child. You have not been overlooked. You've been handpicked. You have not been ignored. You've been intentionally reserved. I heard every whisper, every longing, every tearful petition. And now, The spotlight of heaven is turning toward you, not for performance, but for pouring. I'm about to pour honor where there was hurt, joy where there was judgment, strength where there was silence. I will honor what you did in secret with favor in public, not because you sought it, but because I promised, and I keep every promise. You are the center of my attention, not because of what you do, but because of who you are, mine. You've asked the question in different ways, at different times, wearing different emotions. Sometimes it sounded like anger. Sometimes it leaked through exhaustion. Other times it was buried beneath a whisper of disappointment. God, are you still here? You didn't always say it aloud, but I heard it in the shift of your prayers. I saw it in the way your eyes scanned the sky for signs that never came. I read it in the way your worship changed. Still sincere, but slower, heavier, as if your hope was trying to lift something too weighty to carry anymore. You weren't trying to leave me, but something inside you feared that maybe I had already left you. That perhaps the silence was evidence I had withdrawn. But child, I answer you now, not with a whisper, but with a declaration from the depths of eternity. Yes, I am still here. I never left. I never blinked. I never backed away. You don't have to earn my proximity. You don't have to perform your way into my presence. I wasn't watching you from a distance, waiting to see if you'd figure it out. I was right there, when you collapsed into your pillow, when you sat in the shower longer than you needed to, not because you were cleansing your body, but because you were trying to wash off the heaviness in your soul. I stood over you when the panic tightened in your chest and made your breath feel borrowed. I was not standing across the room. I was holding your very heartbeat, whispering, "You are not alone. I'm not going anywhere." You feared my absence because others have walked away before. But I am not like them. I'm not fragile, and I'm not fickle. I'm not one to be scared off by your mess or silenced by your doubt. I didn't walk away when the tears came. I didn't leave when the anger surfaced. I didn't withdraw when your faith shook. I leaned in. Others may have left you mid-story. Others may have disappeared when your joy ran dry. But not me. I made a covenant, not a contract. I don't check your progress to determine my presence. I vowed to stay, in light and in dark, in triumph and in trembling. You are not the one holding this relationship together. I am. I signed the eternal vow with my blood, and there's no clause in that covenant that allows me to walk away when things get hard. I was with you in the beginning. I'm with you now, and I'll be with you until the last page of your story turns into glory. You have not been abandoned. You have been anchored. Anchored in a love that refuses to loosen its grip even when your hands let go. And so I say it again, for every time you've wondered, for every moment you've doubted, for every tear that's begged for reassurance, I never left. Not when you got quiet. Not when you got tired. Not when you felt too broken to believe. I'm not only still here, I'm closer than ever. I didn't wait at the finish line. I walked with you through every valley, carried you through every shadow, and whispered truth when the lies screamed louder than your peace. My child, stop looking for me in the distant. I am here, in this breath, in this very sentence, and I am not leaving. You don't need a sign in the sky. This word is your sign. I am still here. I always have been, and I always will be. You looked around and wondered why the people who used to ask how you were have grown quiet. You waited for messages that never came. You reread old conversations, hoping something, anything, would reignite connection. You longed for someone to check in, to remember, to ask, "How's your heart really doing?" But silence answered more often than sympathy. And in that silence, your soul started to shrink. The loneliness didn't scream. It whispered. Whispered doubts. Whispered lies. Whispered conclusions like, maybe I'm not worth remembering. But I need you to hear me clearly now. I noticed. I never stopped noticing. While others scrolled past your ache, I wrote it on the walls of heaven. While they slept, I stood guard. While they forgot, I remembered, not just your name, but every nuance of your need. I watched the way you lingered longer in worship, not because you had time, but because you had nowhere else to place the weight you were carrying. I saw the exact second your heart broke, even when your face didn't flinch. I kept record of every moment you looked brave in public but bled in private. When you smiled so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable with your pain, I was already tending to the wound behind the smile. You have not been unseen. You have been specifically studied, strategically covered, and spiritually guarded. Every tear that fell on your bedroom floor became a seed in the soil of your next season. You thought no one cared. But I was gathering those tears and watering the very promise I made to you. There are angels dispatched because of what you endured silently. There are doors about to open because of what you carried quietly. You are not invisible in the economy of heaven. Others might forget your birthday. Others might skip the call. But I schedule heaven around your sighs. I pause divine plans to whisper back when your spirit aches for me in silence. I interrupted time itself to step into your now, not with explanation, but with embrace. What you mistook as being forgotten was actually me forging something sacred. I didn't allow them to check in, not because you're unworthy, but because I wanted to remind you, their absence is not your identity. My presence is. I didn't let the world comfort you because I was cultivating a comfort in you that only comes from knowing I am the one who sees every second of your struggle. So listen closely, my child. You are not unnoticed. You are known. You are not overlooked. You are overcovered. You are not neglected. You are needed, nurtured, named, and never left alone. I have walked every hallway you wept in. I've entered every room where you whispered, "Does anyone see me?" And I answered with an army of comfort, an atmosphere of protection, and a divine declaration over your life. You are seen. You are sacred. You are mine. And not one of your moments has gone unnoticed. I've what? I've waited. And now I'm moving. The God who guarded your tears is about to glorify your testimony. My beloved, I know the weight you've been carrying. I know how long the battle has raged inside you, silent, relentless, and mostly unseen. You tried to keep praying. You tried to speak life when all you felt was loss. You bowed your head but couldn't find the language. You reached for the familiar words, the scriptures, the declarations, but your mouth fell quiet and your eyes filled instead. And you thought, maybe I failed. Maybe I've lost the connection. Maybe silence means separation. But let me tell you something eternal, something holy, something you need to bury deep inside your being. Even when your lips fell silent, I was speaking for you. When you could no longer form the words, I carried your soul's cry straight to the Father's heart, not in language, but in longing. Not with formality, but with fire. You didn't know it, but my spirit inside you has never stopped interceding. I wasn't waiting for you to be articulate. I was responding to your ache. I translated your sighs into sacred strategy. I interpreted your exhaustion as worship. While you sat in silence, I was groaning with a divine depth, speaking mysteries over your life, covering you in prayers you didn't even know how to ask for. You assumed heaven needed your voice. But I never required volume, only surrender. And beloved, you surrendered. Not with perfection, but with posture. Your head may have bowed in defeat, but I saw it as reverence. Your silence wasn't rebellion, it was rawness. And I never flinched at your rawness. I received it like an offering. You see, child, even in the sacred stories of old, there were moments when my chosen ones had no words. Hannah wept in the temple until her prayers sounded like drunken muttering. Elijah lay under a tree and begged to die, his mouth too dry from despair to speak any more faith. And yet I met them there. I covered them there. I revived them there. And I am doing the same for you. Your silence did offend me. It invited me. It made room for a level of divine intercession that goes beyond comprehension. While your body was still, I was storming the heavens on your behalf. Angels moved because of the prayers I prayed through you. Strongholds shook not from the sound of your voice, but from the sound of your pain made holy in my hands. So hear me, child. The prayers you thought were unfinished, I finished them. The cries you thought were wasted, I weaponized them. The moments you stared at the ceiling, numb and broken, wondering if anything was reaching me, it did. Not only did it reach me, it reached the throne and activated movements you still haven't seen the fullness of. My spirit doesn't wait for eloquence. My power doesn't pause for perfect prayers. I pray through you when you can't pray at all. I intercede when you're empty. I fight when you're fatigued. I speak when your strength is spent. I am not a God who leaves when the language stops. I am the God who becomes your language. And even now I am still praying for you, with you, and through you. My child, I've seen the invisible load you've been dragging behind you. The weight that doesn't show up in photos or prayer requests, but sits heavily on your chest the moment you wake. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, like a slow leak of joy, a hidden exhaustion, a subtle dread that shows up without reason. You've carried it so long you began to believe it's part of who you are. But hear me now, that heaviness is not your identity, it is your invitation. An invitation to let me carry what you were never meant to hold. You didn't even realize how much it was costing you, how your laughter dimmed, how your prayers shortened, how your spark became a flicker. But I noticed. I've been watching it tighten around your spirit like a vice, and I've been lifting it, quietly, steadily, intentionally. And no, I didn't always lift it all at once. You begged me to take it, to rip it away in a single act of power. And I could have. But if I did, you would have missed the miracle of my daily nearness. You would have missed the whisper of my presence that comes when you collapse into me instead of running from the pain. So I lifted it like I lifted Peter from the waves, moment by moment. I lifted it when you chose to worship anyway. I lifted it when you forgave without closure. I lifted it when you smiled at someone else even while your own soul was unraveling. Each time you pressed in instead of pulling away, I loosened the burden. Each time you chose me over distraction, I untied a knot around your chest. I've been lifting it without lightning because I wanted you to feel love before you saw power. You see, I don't need to make a scene to make a shift. The greatest transformations often come without trumpets. I didn't roll back the stone with thunder. I simply commanded it. And in your life, I've been commanding peace to re-enter, commanding heaviness to exit, not with fanfare, but with faithfulness. Because I am not a distant rescuer. I am a consistent redeemer. I don't just wait for the breaking point. I meet you in the bending. I show up when the weight becomes background noise to your daily life, and I begin to whisper, "Let me carry that." You were not built to bear it all. You were built to lean. And you have leaned, even when you didn't know it. Every sigh, every pause, every whispered help, I was there, catching what you couldn't carry. And child, I am not finished. I'm still lifting, still freeing, still peeling away layers of sorrow, shame, and silent struggle. And soon, you will breathe differently. Not just spiritually, but physically. That pressure on your chest, I'm breaking it. That fog in your mind, I'm clearing it. That sadness that made no sense, I'm sending it back to the pit from which it came. You don't need to do more to earn this. You simply need to receive it. I am lifting the weight not because you prove yourself, but because you belong to me. And my yoke is easy. My burden is light. Let this moment be the exhale your soul has waited for. Let this word be the confirmation you didn't even know you needed. I've been lifting the weight. And now, you're about to feel light again, not because everything is fixed, but because I'm carrying what crushed you. My child, I know the thoughts that race through your mind when the lights go out and the applause fades, the whispers of the enemy that say, "This is your fault. You messed up. You're here because you failed." I see how those lies burrow deep, especially in seasons of silence and struggle. But hear me now, you are not being punished. You are being positioned. What you're facing is not retribution, it's realignment. I am not in the business of punishing those who already carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. I am in the business of redeeming, restoring, and repurposing even what others call ruin. You didn't get here because you failed me. You got here because I trust you to hold more than you've ever held before. You see failure. I see formation. You see delay. I see development. You see punishment. But I see the precise positioning of someone I love too much to leave in shallow waters. I am not a father who disciplines with distance or silence. I am the God who draws near, especially when the furnace gets hotter. You were not exiled, you were excavated. Pulled from what was too small, what was too safe, what was no longer enough for the anointing I've placed inside you. This season is not me sitting in judgment. It is me standing in strategy. I am not indifferent. I am invested. And your discomfort is not divine displeasure. It is the tension before transformation. Let me be very clear. I didn't place you in this position to punish you. I place you here to prepare you. There are elevations that require excavation. And I know how deeply you've questioned why it had to look like this. Why the stripping? Why the slowness? Why the sacred silence? But beloved, the deeper the foundation, the higher the structure. And I am laying a foundation in you that will not crack under the weight of future glory. Others move quickly, but collapse quietly. I'm not letting that be your story. You've been built slow, but you've been built strong. I know what I'm doing with you. And the signs are already beginning to show. The peace that makes no sense, the clarity that arrives without warning, the sudden strength when you thought you had none left. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. So, don't curse this place. Don't despise the wilderness. I've turned deserts into delivery rooms before, and I'm doing it again, with you. This isn't punishment. It's placement. Strategic. Sacred. Supernatural. And the proof of my love isn't the absence of trial. It's the presence of me in the middle of it. I've never left your side, not for 1 second. And you're going to see why it all had to unfold this way. You'll look back, not with regret, but with reverence. Because you'll see my fingerprints all over your positioning. And you'll whisper, I wasn't being punished. I was being prepared for something greater than I knew how to ask for. And child, you are, you still are. Let's talk about the storm, child. The one you didn't see coming. The one that came suddenly, like a shattering wave, breaking through every wall you'd carefully built. It struck without warning, turned your stability into shifting sand, and left you wondering, where are you, God? But listen to me now. Hear this not just with your ears, but with your inner spirit. I was in the storm. I didn't send it to destroy you. I entered it to deliver you. You wanted escape. I gave you endurance. You prayed for rescue. I promised a revelation. And that's exactly what you're about to receive. Not just relief from the wind and waves, but revelation of my nearness in the middle of them. You see, I could have calmed the winds immediately. I could have silenced the storm with a single breath. But I knew that if I only removed the pressure, you'd miss the presence. I wanted you to see me, not just as savior of the peaceful days, but as the God who walks on water in the middle of the chaos. You wanted me to stop the battle, but I wanted you to see me in the battle. I didn't hover above your storm. I stood in it with you. The fire didn't consume you because I was in the flames. The storm didn't drown you because I walked in the waves beside you. I didn't wait on the shore. I waded into the depths. Because I'm not the God who calls from comfort. I'm the God who joins you in the chaos and changes you from the inside out. And child, I saw you. When the lightning of life flashed and the thunder of disappointment rolled, I saw you. You kept showing up. You kept lifting your hands even when your heart felt heavy. You didn't quit. You didn't retreat. You kept moving, one small, staggering, sacred step at a time. And every step was a statement. My God is still with me. Heaven heard it. Hell feared it. I honored it. You survived what should have swallowed you. You endured what others would have escaped from. But I didn't let the storm consume you because I still have a plan to release through you. The enemy underestimated what my presence would do inside you. He thought the storm would break you. But all it did was build you. Deeper, stronger, quieter in trust, louder in purpose. So don't look at the storm and think you failed. Don't measure your progress by how loud the thunder was. Instead, look around and see who stood with you in the fire. It was me. Always me. And that fire, though fierce, refined you. That storm, though strong, reshaped you. You are not the same person who entered this storm. You are wiser, weightier in the spirit, more rooted in who I've called you to be. And this next season, this unfolding that's already begun, will not be storm-free, but it will be marked by confidence, because now you know, even in the fire, I don't stand at a distance. I stand beside you. I enter with you. I stay with you. And I don't leave until every flame has fulfilled its purpose. My child, if only you could have seen what I saw when you nearly collapsed under the unseen weight. If only you knew how many times I held you upright when the world said you should have fallen. There were days when your legs, not just physically, but spiritually, buckled beneath exhaustion. You moved through rooms smiling, but inside, you were seconds away from surrender. You kept saying, I'm fine, but I saw how close you were to letting go. Yet every time your knees trembled, every time your footing wavered, every time you whispered, I can't do this anymore, I became the strength in your bones, the steadiness in your stride, the invisible hand beneath your soul. You didn't recognize it at the time. You thought it was adrenaline. You thought it was just your inner grit. But it wasn't. That moment you stood back up after crying all night. That wasn't adrenaline. That was me. That time you answered the phone, showed up for work, made the meal, encouraged someone else, all while your own heart was bleeding. That wasn't your strength. That was my spirit, carrying you when you couldn't carry yourself. You've been walking not by might, not by power, but by my breath, whispered into your weariness. You thought you were surviving on empty, but you've been overflowing with a grace you didn't even know was flowing through you. Remember the time you felt like quitting? Not just quitting the task, but quitting hope, quitting faith, quitting the idea that things would ever change. You thought that despair would drown you, but I was already lifting your chin above the waters. You didn't feel strong because you weren't supposed to. That's the holy paradox. My strength shows up best in your surrender. I am not repelled by your frailty. I am drawn to it. I am not ashamed of your collapse. I am glorified in your rising. You thought I should be further along. But child, you don't realize. Every shaky step forward was a victory in the heavenlies. Every time you stood back up, angels leaned in. You moved mountains not by shouting but by standing when everything tried to sit you down. So I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are stronger than you think, not because of your strength, but because of mine. You didn't just make it through. You triumphed in territory hell thought it had claimed. The ground you walked on was holy, not because it was easy, but because I walked it with you. Your legs may have felt weak, but your roots were growing deeper with every trembling step. And now, I will begin to exchange your weariness for wisdom, your weakness for weighty authority, your fatigue for fire. Because I was there, child, not just watching you stumble, but holding you upright. You made it here, not by luck, not by accident, but by grace that gripped you even when you lost your grip on everything else. You've just heard me say, I've walked through the fire with you, and now I ask you to walk with me. My word is moving through this message like a river of healing, and it's not meant to stop with you. There are sons and daughters still in the wilderness, still waiting to hear I'm with you for the very first time. I want you to help me reach them. Every seed you sow, whether through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link below, becomes a lamp in someone's darkness, a whisper of hope in someone's despair. I will multiply what you give like the loaves and fishes, not only for others, but in your life as well. I will guard your house, rebuke the devourer, and crown your generosity with divine favor. This is your moment to be the miracle. Now go, click the link and give with faith. Move now. I'm in it. My dear one, let's settle this once and for all. You did not fail. You felt like you did, I know. You measured your walk by your feelings, by how many days you felt empty, how often your prayers were short, how inconsistent your worship seemed. You told yourself, I'm not doing enough. I'm not strong enough. I've lost my way. But here is my truth. You didn't falter. You fought. You fought through fatigue. You fought through confusion. You fought through spiritual silence and emotional noise. And you never stopped reaching for me, even when your arms were tired, even when your voice was gone, even when all you had left was a whisper. And I saw it all. Others may have only seen the outside. They judged the surface, your posture, your church attendance, your smile. But I saw the secret wars you fought behind the curtain. I saw how you dragged yourself into the word even when it felt like nothing made sense. I saw you press play on the worship song when your heart didn't want to sing. I saw you open your journal just to scribble one sentence and cry. Heaven didn't grade you on performance. Heaven celebrated your perseverance. You thought you had slipped, but in truth, you stood firmer than ever before. Not because you were unshakable, but because you kept your eyes, however weary, fixed on me. Let me remind you, survival is sacred. It's not flashy. It's not celebrated. But in my kingdom, those who survive the dark with their faith barely flickering are heroes in the spirit. The ones who don't give up, even when they feel like giving in, those are the ones I crown with strength. You survived the spiritual numbness. You survived the seasons of silence. You held on when it would have been easier to let go, and I counted every second of it. A warfare didn't disqualify you. It refined you. Your faith won loss, it was forged. What you thought was a breaking was actually a birthing. And now, I will birth through you a depth of authority that only comes from the deep waters you've walked through with me. So hear me now. I am not disappointed in you. I am deeply, eternally proud. You've done more in the spirit than you can possibly see with your eyes. And soon, others will witness the harvest of your hidden battle. They will see favor rise on your life and wonder where it came from. But you and I will know. It came from the wilderness. It came from the cave. It came from the long nights when all you had was tears and trust. You didn't fail. You survived. And survival, in the kingdom of heaven, is often the greatest kind of victory. Let that settle into your bones. Let that truth rewrite the lies. And let this moment be a monument. You made it. And I saw you all. My child, if you only knew how relentlessly the enemy works to whisper lies into the places where you once held my promises. He crept in quietly, wrapping fear in logic, disappointment in distraction, and began to suggest things like, maybe God changed his mind. Maybe this promise has expired. Maybe I've gone too far, waited too long, fallen too short. But I am breaking that lie now with the force of heaven's thunder. I have not changed my mind about you. I have not altered the assignment. I have not canceled the covenant. I do not operate in hesitation or second-guessing. What I spoke over you before time began still echoes in eternity. And nothing you've been through, no detour you've taken, no delay you've endured, has disqualified you from what I declare. I'm not like people who promise and then withdraw. I'm not moved by emotion, nor swayed by circumstance. I'm the Ancient of Days, the same yesterday, today, and forever. My love isn't performance-based. It's presence-based. And I haven't left you for 1 second. What I spoke in the fire, I will fulfill in the fullness of time. Do not mistake silence for shift. I've been doing the deep work behind the veil, because what I'm building in you is far too weighty to be rushed. I've been expanding your capacity to carry not just promise, but power. What looks like delay is actually divine development. And I want you to understand, the storm you endured didn't stop the strategy I set in place for you. It only strengthened the soil where I've planted purpose. Yes, I saw the season where you questioned everything. I saw the bitterness try to form like a bruise under your belief. You wonder, God, did you forget what you said? But child, I remember every word I've ever spoken over you. I don't make idle declarations. I write them into the fabric of your spirit. And when you couldn't feel me, I was holding that promise steady in your name. The enemy thought that if he could make you doubt my heart, he could delay your hope. But he failed. You're still here. Still believing, even if that belief is bruised. Still standing, even if you're swaying. Still hoping, even if it's a whisper now instead of a shout. And child, that whisper of faith, that moves me more than the loudest praise, because I see the cost behind it. So let me say it again, louder than the voice of every lie. I have not changed my mind about you. What I started, I will finish. What I promised, I will perform. My plans are not fragile. They are fire-tested. And you, my beloved, are not falling behind. You are being forged. This is the season where I remind you, not just in word but in demonstration, that my covenant remains. The blueprint is still active. The anointing is still flowing. And the next door that opens will prove what your heart barely dared to hope for. I still choose you. I still see you. I still plan to use you, beyond what you thought possible. My beloved, so much of your exhaustion hasn't come from the weight of life, but from the pressure to be enough, to prove yourself, to perform, to somehow earn what I already gave freely. You've been measuring your worth in metrics I never handed you. You've tied your value to your productivity, your perfection, your progress. You've looked at what others are doing and thought, maybe I need to do more. Maybe I need to pray better. Maybe I'm the problem. But today, I tear down every false altar built by performance, and I say this with all the weight of heaven behind it. You never had to prove anything to me. You are mine. And that has always been enough. You didn't earn my love, you were born from it. You didn't purchase your place. I paid for it with blood. I didn't choose you because you were flawless. I chose you because I am faithful. Your belonging in my presence has never been up for debate. It was sealed in sacred covenant before you ever took your first breath. While you've been running around trying to earn rest, I've been whispering, rest has already been given. Just come. You are not on trial. You are not being tested for admittance. You are already accepted, already held, already known, flaws and all, and still adored. Your vulnerability doesn't weaken my affection. Your wounds don't repel me. In fact, those very cracks are where my glory loves to dwell. So breathe. Lay down the spiritual perfectionism. Lay down the internal pressure. I didn't ask you to be impressive. I asked you to be intimate. I didn't ask for polish. I asked for presence. I'm not sitting on a throne tallying your good days and bad ones. I'm sitting with you in every moment, loving you before you succeed, whispering grace even when you struggle. You've been waiting for a spiritual breakthrough, but here's the breakthrough you need. You are already loved. You are already enough. You are already mine. Not when you finish the task. Not when you fix the flaw. Now, as you are, right here, in this breath, let this truth shatter the shame. Let it undo every lie that said you had to do more to be seen, to be safe, to be secure. You are seen. You are safe. You are secure, not because of your strength, but because of my choice. I chose you, and I do not unchoose what I've placed my name upon. Your identity is not fragile. It's sealed. Your place is not unstable. It's secured. So stop striding. Stop rehearsing your failures. Come sit with me, not as a servant begging for approval, but as a child wrapped in unconditional love. Because that is what you are. That is who you've always been. You are mine. And that has always been enough. You've had those moments, the kind that hollow out your insides and leave you wondering if anyone even notices your absence. You stood in crowded rooms and still felt the ache of invisibility. You laid in your bed, stared at the ceiling, and whispered into the darkness, "Where is everyone? Does anyone see me? Does anyone care enough to stay?" And the silence that followed seemed to echo like a verdict. But child, you were never truly alone. While you were questioning your worth, I was drawing closer. While you were feeling abandoned, I was inhabiting the very air around you. I didn't just visit the room of your sorrow. I filled it. I stood where others left. I entered the space they avoided. I saw the mess they didn't want to deal with, and I stayed. You must understand, I'm not the kind who leaves when the lights go off. I'm not the god of exit signs. I'm the god of entrances into places no one else wants to go. I enter the shadowed spaces, the ones too tender for others, too complicated, too heavy. I stand in the silence when friends grow distant and family doesn't understand. I draw closer when your own voice grows faint. I know the cost of being misunderstood. I too was left in my most human hour. I too asked, "Why have you forsaken me?" So I do not mock your ache. I do not minimize your emptiness. I make it holy with my presence. I turn it from abandonment to appointment, a meeting place for deeper intimacy. They didn't see you, but I did. They didn't check in, but I never checked out. When your phone didn't ring, mine was already speaking. When their absence pressed in, my nearness wrapped around you. You didn't have to earn that. It wasn't because you were strong or put together. It was because you are mine. When others left because they didn't know what to say, I stayed because I already knew what your heart was too tired to express. I don't panic at pain. I don't retreat when the tears start. In fact, I draw near to the broken-hearted. And child, you've never been more held than in the moments you thought you were most alone. Let me say it plainly, I never abandoned you. You didn't feel me because grief blurred your senses. But I was there, closer than breath, closer than thought. I wasn't watching from a window. I was seated in the ruins with you, rebuilding you one whisper at a time. And now, I'm bringing you out. Not just healed, but whole. Not just comforted, but commissioned. Because I don't just sit in sorrow. I speak destiny from it. You'll look back on this season and say, "That's where I learned he doesn't leave. That's where I discovered he stays when everyone else walks away." And beloved, I always have. I always will. There's a reason I created tear ducts. There's a reason I formed your face with that divine design. The ability to release what your soul can no longer hold silently. And you, my child, have released many tears. Not all were loud. Some were quiet drips onto your pillow. Some were hidden in bathroom stalls, in your car, in the middle of the night. Others came in waves you couldn't control, sudden floods of grief or confusion or loneliness. And the enemy tried to convince you they were wasted. He tried to tell you they were weakness. But today, I speak as your creator and your keeper. Every tear you've cried has been collected in my hands, counted by my spirit, and turned into a divine strategy you haven't even begun to see unfold. You weren't just crying, you were sowing. You were sowing seeds of intercession, seeds of endurance, seeds of surrender. And while your heart broke, heaven was building. While your sobs echoed, angels were dispatched. You didn't feel it. You didn't see it. But child, heaven responds to tears in ways that words never could. Your pain was not passive. It was prophetic. You mourned not just for what was lost to, but for what your spirit knew was about to shift. And now, I am taking those tears and watering the very promises you thought had dried up. I am producing fruit from every weeping, a harvest born in the soil of surrender. Do you remember what I said in my word? Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. That wasn't poetic metaphor. That was divine law. Heaven has been tracking your sorrows and turning them into songs. Not one tear has evaporated into nothing. Each drop had been preserved, purposed, propelled. Your weeping nights were never empty. They were filled with my presence, my plans, my preparation. And soon, yes, soon, child, you will see the connection between your midnight cries and your morning breakthroughs. The tears were not delays. They were deposits. And now, the account of your faith is overflowing with glory due for withdrawal. So don't regret the crying. Don't apologize for the weeping. Don't resent the moments where all you could do was collapse and let it fall. I was there, catching it, counting it, transforming it. I took what the world calls weakness and made it your spiritual weapon. Your tears carried prayers too deep for words, and I answered them all. Yes, even the ones you don't remember praying. Even the ones soaked into your bedsheets. Even the ones that came with no words at all. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing hath been lost. And now, I will begin to reveal what has been birthed through your brokenness. The season of silent weeping is making way for surprising reaping. It's time. Watch what I do with what the world never saw. My beloved, I know the ache of long silence. I know how unsettling it can be to sit in stillness and wonder if I've gone quiet. You searched the sky, scrolled the scriptures, played the worship songs louder, and whispered, "God, where are you?" You didn't ask because you lacked faith, you asked because you missed me. You longed for a word, a dream, a sign, anything to pierce the quiet. But let me tell you something holy, something hidden, something eternal. I was never silent. I was speaking through the stillness. I was not ignoring you. I was inviting you. And in that sacred hush, I wasn't punishing you. I was preparing you to hear me in a way you never have before. I speak in many ways, thunder and whisper, storm and psalm. But some of my most powerful words are not heard with the ears, but absorbed through the soul. In the noise, I teach you obedience. But in the quiet, I teach you discernment. You thought I was distant. But child, I was closer than ever, shaping your sensitivity, refining your inner ear, tuning your spirit to my frequency. I silenced the distractions not to punish you, but to prepare you. I removed the volume of the world so you could recognize my voice not by tone, but by truth. In the silence, I was unteaching the noise, unlayering the lies, removing the static of the enemy's sound so that when I whisper next, you will know it is me. It's easy to hear me in fire and glory, but I want you to hear me in the gentle nudge. I want you to recognize me in the still breathe, in the subtle shift, in the quiet conviction. That kind of hearing isn't gained through shouting. It's birthed in stillness. And child, you've been in a birthing room, not of punishment but of prophetic perception. While you were waiting for the thunder, I was changing your ability to recognize me in still waters. The silence wasn't absence. It was alignment. I've been adjusting the dial of your heart to match the frequency of my spirit. And now, as the silence begins to break, you will find yourself recognizing my voice in places you never expected, in ordinary moments, in overlooked whispers, in divine patterns disguised as daily life. So don't resent the silence. Revere it, because you were not abandoned in that space. You were anointed there. You were trained to walk by faith, not by constant feedback. You were entrusted with stillness so that when my word begins to flow again, and oh, it will, you'll carry it not as a novelty, but as a necessity. You'll walk with deeper confidence, not needing noise to confirm what your spirit already knows. The silence was never meant to shut you down. It was meant to settle you into a place of divine clarity. And now, clarity is coming. Revelation is rising. And you'll know that what you called God's silence was actually my most strategic, sacred sound. You've looked around and wondered why others seem to be moving ahead, gaining platforms, recognition, progress, while you feel tucked away, unnoticed, even overlooked. You ask me, why am I still here, God? Why does it feel like I've been benched, paused, placed behind the curtain while others run forward? But let me tell you something that will shift the shame off your shoulders. You have not been forgotten. You've been hidden. And there's a holy difference. I didn't hide you to punish you. I hid you to protect you, to prepare you, to plant you in a place where shallow eyes couldn't interfere with deep work. You see, what I'm doing in you requires time beneath the surface. I don't build skyscrapers without first digging deep foundations. And I don't elevate my children without securing their souls first. The hidden place is where I anchor you, where I fortify your identity, where I grow the roots that can hold the weight of future fruit. You weren't delayed. You were deepened. You weren't forgotten. You were fortified. I've covered you in the secret place, not because you're not ready, but because the world wasn't ready for what I'm forming in you. If I exposed you too early, the winds would destroy what the word hasn't yet developed. So I kept you hidden, not to keep you back, but to ensure that when you rise, nothing can pull you back down. And beloved, make no mistake, you will rise. But when you do, it won't be with noise. It'll be with notice. I will announce you in the right season, at the right time, to the right places, and when I do, the strength you carry will be undeniable. You won't need to fight for attention, force open doors, or fabricate opportunity. I will go before you. I will establish you. And those who wondered where you went will see what I was doing while they weren't looking. They will not just see your elevation, they will sense your consecration. They will feel the weight of someone who's been in the secret place with me. So let this be your reminder. Hidden does not mean forgotten. Buried does not mean abandoned. Seeds are hidden before they break through. Oil is crushed before it pours. Wine is aged before it's poured out. And so it has been with you. I've placed you in a season where no one saw what was happening, but I did. I saw the late night wrestling. I saw the private obedience. I saw the prayers no one applauded. And now, I am bringing you from the hidden place to the holy place, a place of manifestation, not just preparation. You are coming out, not with arrogance, but with authority. Not with pride, but with power. Because I did not forget you, I formed you. And what's been formed in the secret will now flourish in the light. Child, I saw you, not just the version of you that shows up with a smile, but the one who stared at the ceiling wondering if you could keep going. I watched as the weight of your calling, the dreams, the promises, the assignments I placed on your life, began to feel heavier than your hands could lift. You whispered, God. I said yes, but I didn't know it would cost this much. You thought about quitting, not because you stopped loving me, but because you felt you had nothing left to give. You felt unworthy, inadequate, depleted. But let me say this plainly, powerfully, prophetically. I never needed your performance. I only needed your permission. And child, you gave it. Your yes was all I needed to begin carrying what was never yours to carry alone. I never asked you to be strong enough for the whole journey. I never required perfection. I never demanded unbroken motivation. I simply asked for surrender, and every time you whispered, "Here I am, Lord," I took you at your word. And when your strength wore thin, when your vision blurred, when your heart could no longer remember why it said yes in the first place, I stepped in and carried you. Not just your body, but your burdens. Not just your calling, but your core. I lifted you through seasons you don't even remember surviving. I took your yes and made it my platform. You didn't succeed because you were tireless. You succeeded because I was tireless in loving you. You thought, I'm too tired to fulfill this calling. But child, It was never your calling to carry alone. It was always our calling. I placed it upon your life, knowing full well every valley, every heartbreak, every delay you would walk through. I calculated the cost and called you anyway. I factored in your weakness and chose you still. Because your yes wasn't about your power, it was about my promise. And I don't withdraw my word when your energy dips. I don't cancel my purpose when your emotions waver. I carry what you cannot. I live what would otherwise crush you. I strengthen what's been drained. You gave me your yes, and I gave you my presence, in every step, every setback, every sacred in between. So rest now, not in the absence of responsibility, but in the assurance that you are not alone in this. You are not failing. You are not falling apart. You are being carried. I've tucked you into the folds of my strength, and where your hands trembled, my hands remain steady. You've done more than you know, and I am not done with you. The tiredness you feel is not a sign of defeat. It's the signal that a new wind is coming. I am breathing strength back into your yes. I am reviving your spirit. Not because you proved yourself, but because I promised myself to you. And I always keep my covenant. Let's talk about what hurt you, child. Not to reopen wounds, but to redeem them. I saw the hit that blindsided you. I witnessed the betrayal that split your soul. I was there when the door slammed, when the words pierced, when the silence from someone you loved screamed louder than any insult ever could. And I didn't flinch. I didn't pull away. I stepped closer. Because I know what wounds do to the human heart. They don't just break it. They redefine it. They whisper new names over you. Unworthy. Forgotten. Broken. Unloved. And you've been tempted to wear those names like a second skin. But I step in now, with all of heaven behind me, and declare, your wound is not your identity. Your past pain does not predict your future purpose. I'm writing a new chapter, and it begins with healing. You've tried to move on, and you've done well, better than you realize. But there's still a soreness, isn't there? A brew that responded to certain memory, certain name, certain zone. And you've wondered if you'll ever really be free. But child, I didn't just come to manage your wounds. I came to mend them. I came to touch the deep places no one else knows how to reach, the old griefs, the silent shame, the pain you've stopped talking about because it feels too late to heal. But it's not too late. Because with me, healing isn't bound by time. I don't just fix the moment. I reach into memory and rewrite it with mercy. What they did to you won't define you. What they said about you won't stick. What you lost will not be the last word. I am the author, and I'm picking up the pen again. The pages ahead are still blank, and I refuse to let your story end with heartbreak. You thought the wound would become a wall, but I'm turning it into a well. From this place of pain, I will draw out purpose. I will anoint you with oil that could only come from the crushing. I will birth in you an empathy, an authority, a holy resilience that cannot be manufactured in comfort. And you will know, not just believe, but know, that I am the God who heals from the inside out, who restores years the locusts tried to devour, who breathes on ashes and makes beauty rise. So don't be afraid of the new chapter. Don't flinch at the blank page. Don't brace for more pain, expect promise. Because I'm not continuing the old narrative. I'm writing something entirely new. The ink I use is mercy. The pen I use is compassion. The chapters ahead will not be trauma repeating. They will be testimony unfolding. You're not doomed to repeat what broke you. You're destined to rise from it, to rule in the very place you once wept. I'm not ignoring what hurt you, I'm transforming it. And child, What I heal, I also use. So brace yourself, not for pain, but for power. Because the new chapter begins now. And I am turning the page with you. I know what it's taken for you to get this far. I know the survival seasons, the times you didn't care about dreams or calling. You just wanted to breathe. Just wanted to make it through the day without breaking. Just wanted to stay upright when everything around you was collapsing. And you did it. You survived. With scraped knees and bruised hope, but you survived. And I celebrated you. I wept with you. I fought for you. I held you. But now I am shifting you. Because I did not bring you through fire just to leave you standing in the ashes. I am not building you to merely survive. I am building you to rule. You've gotten good at enduring, at holding the line, at staying in the fight. But now, I am calling you to advance. The posture is changing. Your hands have been clenched in defense, but I'm teaching them to open, to receive, to wield authority. You are not just a soldier. You are a son, a daughter, a carrier of divine dominion. I've placed my spirit inside you not to just help you cope, but to command territory. The places that once controlled you, anxiety, shame, regret, I'm flipping the tables. What once ruled over you, you will now rule over in my name. You will occupy what once oppressed you. You will speak with authority where you used to whisper in fear. You will rise in spaces that used to suffocate you. Dominion doesn't look like pride, it looks like peace. It looks like walking into rooms and knowing you don't have to perform to belong. It looks like facing spiritual warfare and knowing the battle is already mine. It looks like showing up, not to prove something but to establish something. And I've been preparing you for this shift. That's why the pressure increased. That's why the pruning felt relentless. Because you can't carry dominion with shallow roots. You can't steward my power if your identity still rests in performance. So I allowed the breaking to build you. I allowed the silence to shape you. Because now, you're ready for the next level of authority. So hear me now. This is the shift. You're coming out of survival mode. You're stepping into occupancy. I'm placing keys in your hands, to doors you didn't even know you qualified for. I'm giving you authority to speak and see mountains move. You will not beg for crumbs. You will command harvest. You will not fear being seen. You will carry my light into dark places and call them holy ground. The season of just making it through is over. This is the moment where you take ground, not in your own name, but in mine. And everywhere you place your foot in obedience, I will give you as your inheritance. You just heard me say, I'm not building you for survival anymore. I'm building you for dominion. So now I ask you, will you help me establish that dominion? Will you be the hands that carry this message further, to those still chained in fear, still waiting for their confirmation that I am with them too? Every offering you give through super thanks, membership, where the PayPal link below becomes like oil poured on dry bones, turning dust into destiny. I said in my word, give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. That is not a suggestion. That is a living promise. I will breathe on your giving and multiply it beyond your reach, both for others and back to your house. The time is now. Click, sow, and step into the harvest. You stand at the edge of a new chapter, and I can feel the hesitation in your heart. You've asked me, God, what if I step wrong? What if I misread the moment? What if I move too soon, or not soon enough? The unknown stretches in front of you like an open field, and the fear of the unfamiliar tries to paralyze your progress. But hear me now, child. This next step is not uncharted. It's been prepared. I've already walked the road ahead. I've already laid the bricks. I've already marked the milestones. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into coordinates I set before time began. You keep wondering if you're going to miss it. The right door, the right time, the right place. But child, you forget who I am. I'm the God who goes before. I don't just meet you in your future, I wrote your future. Every curve in the road, every intersection, every open door and closed gate, all of it has passed through my hand. You won't miss what I've authored. And even if you veer off course, my spirit is not lost. I am your GPS, and I don't get confused. I recalibrate. I redirect. I redeem. So even your missteps become part of the miracle. Even your detours become doorways into deeper trust. You are not lost. You are being led. Remember this. I don't prepare the path to impress you. I prepare it to anchor you. So when the next season comes, when you start walking into rooms that feel too big, into opportunities that feel too weighty, into favor that feels too unfamiliar, you will know this is not random. It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's prophecy fulfilled. It's me. It's what I planned, what I protected, what I've been preparing behind the veil of your waiting. And every no from the last season will begin to make sense, not as rejection, but as redirection. I wasn't withholding. I was withdrawing you from wrong places so I could release you into right ones. So go forward now, not with fear, but with fire. The way has already been made. The waters have already been parted. The gates have already been unlocked. And when you step forward, you won't be alone. My favor will go before you. My angels will flank you. My spirit will whisper, "This is the way, walk in it." And you will begin to move, not in guessing, but in grace. Not in panic, but in peace. Because you will realize, with every step you take, I've already been here. I've already gone ahead. I've paved this path with purpose, and I will walk every step with you. There's been a tormenting whisper in the back of your mind lately, subtle but persistent. It says, you missed it. You waited too long. The window closed. The opportunity passed you by. And though you've tried to silence it, it lingers like an ache. You look back at decisions you didn't make, doors you didn't walk through, seasons you weren't ready for, and the shame tries to settle in like fog. But I break that lie right now with my voice of truth and thunder. You have not missed your moment. What I authored for you is not fragile. It does not shatter under delay. It is not bound by time. It is anchored in eternity. I do not operate in expiration dates. I operate in appointed times. And child, what I appointed for you cannot be stolen, cannot be lost, cannot be claimed by someone else. I did not lose track of the promise. I did not miscalculate your journey. I didn't forget what I spoke over your life just because the calendar pages turn. I was never in a rush, and neither should you be. I allowed time to pass because I was preparing you for what I preserved for you. You thought you were behind, but I was building your depth. You thought you missed it, but I was actually maturing your spirit so you could carry the weight of what's coming next. Dining isn't about speed, it's about strength. And you are stronger now, wiser now. Your roots go deeper. Your vision hath been refined. You've been tested, tried, and tempered. And now, when I place the mantle back into your hands, you won't treat it like a trophy. You'll carry it like a sacred trust. The delay didn't diminish the promise. It preserved it. kept it hidden from premature exposure, kept it safe from sabotage, kept it waiting until your heart could hold it with reverence, not anxiety. And now, I am aligning you, not to a recycled opportunity, but to a restored one. Not to a consolation prize, but to the original promise, alive, active, and ready. So shake off the shame. Dismiss the lie. Let go of the timeline you created. I'm not frustrated with your pace. I've never been late. I've always known when to bring things full circle. And child, this is that moment. The missed season is now being redeemed. What you thought was gone is being returned with glory. Watch me prove that my promises are not fragile. Watch me remind you that I am not a man who changes his mind. Watch me restore the years you thought had slipped away, and do it with such power, such detail, such perfect orchestration, that you will drop to your knees in awe and say, "He never forgot. He was preparing me all along." You've downplayed yourself for too long. You've shrugged off your uniqueness, dimmed your light, second-guessed your significance. You looked at others and assumed they were the ones chosen, called, marked. And you, just someone trying to get by. But child, you are not ordinary. You never were. From the moment I formed you in the secret place, I carved my name into your spirit. I placed heaven's fingerprint on your soul. I appointed you, not for a common life, but for a consecrated one. You've been walking through life thinking you're just another person in the crowd, but in the spirit, you are surrounded by divine spotlight. Do you want to know why the warfare has been so intense? It's not because you're weak. It's because you're marked. Hell did not wage war on what doesn't carry heaven's weight. The opposition didn't come to crush you. It came to try and cancel the call. But it failed. Because my seal is on you. My hand is upon you. And not only that, heaven is watching over you. You felt isolated, but you've never once been alone. You've been surrounded by angelic assignment, watched by the cloud of witnesses, covered in the prayers of generations before you. You've been the subject of divine strategy, not forgotten, but fiercely protected. You wonder sometimes if your life matters, but let me tell you, all of heaven leans in when you speak my name, when you lift your hands in worship, when you whisper prayers you think no one hears. You shake atmospheres. You shift legacy lines. You affect realms beyond what your eyes can see. You are a walking contradiction to darkness, a carrier of light in the middle of chaos. That's not exaggeration. That's your design. And now, I'm about to begin revealing to you just how sacred your assignment really is. The places you've tread, the people you've touched, the ripple effects you don't even realize you've started. It's all been orchestrated with divine purpose. So stop minimizing yourself. Stop measuring yourself by what you haven't done or where you think you've fallen short. Heaven isn't looking for perfection. Heaven is looking for posture. And yours has been surrendered, yielded, honest. That is the kind of posture I anoint. That is the kind of heart I use to shake nations. You may feel like no one sees the real you, but I do. And I'm about to reveal what I've hidden. The marking on your life is not fading. It's about to blaze. And the world will soon see what I've always known. This one is mine. Chosen, called, set apart, and ready for the divine unveiling. You've been carrying so much lately. The tension in your chest, the ache in your soul, the weariness that settles in even when the world around you is quiet. All of it feels heavier than what words can explain. You've whispered to me in secret, "God, I don't know how much more I can take. Can you just take the pressure off?" And I'd heard that cry, I haven't ignored it. But child, let me tell you something that will reframe everything. The pressure you've been feeling isn't punishment, it's purpose. I haven't abandoned you under the weight. I've been standing in it with you, using it to draw out what I've hidden inside you all along. Pressure is never comfortable, but it's consecrated. It doesn't come to destroy, it comes to distill. Diamonds are formed in pressure. Oil is released under crushing. And what I've placed in you, the deep wells of power, endurance, revelation, compassion, those aren't accessed in ease. They are accessed through pressing. You've wanted release, and I understand that. But what you really needed was revelation, to see that what feels like breaking is actually birthing. The pressure has not been random. It has been sacred, strategically applied, divinely measured, meant not to overwhelm you, but to awaken you to the treasure you didn't know was inside. You see, child, the enemy wanted the pressure to crush your spirit, but I allowed it to compress your calling, to refine your focus, to force things out of you that were blocking my flow. Old fears, unhealthy attachments, limitations you placed on yourself. I used the pressure to push those things to the surface, not to shame you, but to set you free. Because I'm not just making you stronger, I'm making you purer. I'm bringing forth a version of you that can handle the next level of authority, not a polished image, but a purified identity. Not just someone who carries revelation, but someone who has been pressed until power flows. So don't curse the pressure. Don't mistake it for abandonment. I've been there the whole time, holding you steady, speaking even when you didn't hear, whispering even when it felt like silence. I haven't just watched you carry the weight, I've been the strength underneath your hands. And now, the pressure is about to shift. Because it wasn't meant to last forever. It was meant to transform. And it has. You're not the same person who walked into the season. You're deeper now. Stronger now. Brighter now. And what I've produced in the pressing is now ready to be poured out. The treasure is rising to the surface. And soon, the same pressure that made you weep will become the platform from which you witness my glory. Get ready, because the oil is about to flow. My beloved, I know the ache in your heart to know what's ahead. The future feels like a fog sometimes, and you've been praying, God, just tell me what to do next. Show me the next step. Reveal the next assignment. You've searched for signs, for confirmations, for roadmaps. But what I want to give you right now is not just a destination. It's a revelation. Because the most important thing I can show you in this moment is not what is next, but who you are right now. And what I need you to hear with every fiber of your spirit is this. You are not waiting to become. You already are. You keep looking at yourself through the lens of process, like your power is still pending, like your anointing is still being approved. But I need you to understand something deeper. You've already been sealed, already been sent, already been stamped with heaven's authority. You're not waiting on a title, a microphone, a platform, a moment to validate what I've already established. You've been trying to become what you already are, a carrier of glory, a destroyer of darkness, a walking miracle, a living word. The enemy has tried to convince you that you're not ready. But I say to you now, I've already made you ready. You thought, if I could just see what's ahead, then I'd feel peace. But child, peace doesn't come from knowing the next step. Peace comes from knowing who walks with you in every step. And I walk with you, not beside a future version of you. I walk with you, and you are now flawed, human, in process, but still chosen. still crowned, still burning with my spirit. The enemy wants to keep you caught in a cycle of waiting for permission. But I am handing you confirmation. You are enough, now. You are anointed, now. You are ready, now. The waiting season was never about delay. It was about discovery, not of what's next, but of who you've already become. So let's stop chasing the future like it's the prize. You are the prize, the vessel I've shaped, the voice I'm filling, the heart I've made holy. Yes, there are next steps, and yes, I'll guide you into every one. But if you skip this moment, you'll miss the truth I've been trying to get into your spirit for so long. You already carry what you've been praying for. You already embody what you're trying to become. You don't need to wait for another sign. You need to walk in what I've already placed in your hands. You're not becoming powerful. You are power-filled. You're not becoming worthy. You are my beloved. And if you could only see what I see when I look at you, child, you would stop doubting and start dominating. There have been moments, quiet, hidden moments, where you've wondered if your doubts disqualified you. When your prayers felt hollow and your faith felt like it was flickering out, you thought, God, I don't know if I believe like I used to. I don't know if I have what it takes anymore. You were afraid to even admit it out loud, afraid that your hesitation would somehow cause me to pull away. But child, I never moved an inch. Even in your most uncertain hour, I stood closer. Not with a lecture, but with love. Not with punishment, but with peace. Because hear me, your doubt didn't scare me. Your questions didn't offend me. Your weariness didn't change my faith in you. I have always known who you are. I have always known what I placed in you. And I've never doubted it for a second. You see, your faith was never meant to be flawless. It was meant to be honest. I've never acquired perfect belief. I've required a heart that keeps returning. And you did. You came back. Even when your hope was hanging by a thread. Even when the disappointment made it hard to lift your hands in worship. Even when you didn't feel anything but numbness, you still turned your face toward me. You still whispered, God, are you there? And that whisper, that one sacred question, was enough. It wasn't a lack of faith. It was a sign of life. And I held that whisper like a treasure, because I knew that underneath the doubt was still a desire, and that's where I do my deepest work. Let me tell you a truth that hell has tried to hide from you. I believe in you. Yes, me. The one who flung stars into space. The one who called light out of darkness. I believe in what I formed inside you. I believe in your resilience, your surrender, your capacity to rise again. I believe in the oil that flows from your wounds. I believe in the worship that rises from your valleys. I believe in your yes, not because it's loud, but because it's real. You've doubted me, but I've never once doubted who I created you to be. Because I was there when I knit you together, thread by thread, fire by fire, purpose by purpose. So now, take a breath and let the shame fall off. I'm not here to remind you of your weak moments. I'm here to reignite the flame. I'm not trying to prove your failure. I'm trying to awaken your faith. Not the kind that ignores questions, but the kind that invites me into them. You are not disqualified. You are not too far gone. You are not a disappointment. You are mine. And I've waited, patiently, tenderly, fiercely, for the moment you'd let me speak this truth into your heart again. You still carry everything I put in you, and I will finish what I started. You've been through so much, haven't you? More than most know. More than you shared. Some of it still feels fresh, even years later. The losses, the betrayals, the long nights where your tears felt endless and your prayers felt unanswered. And though you've grown, though you've healed, though you've walked with strength, there's still a part of you that quietly wonders, will this pain ever make sense? Child, lean in now, because I am not just your comforter. I am your Redeemer. And I declare this with all the force of heaven behind me. The pain was never the end of the story. It was only in the setup. What's coming next will carry a glory that outweighs the grief. The beauty will eclipse the ashes. I don't waste wounds. I don't ignore suffering. I collect every drop of agony, and I weave it into redemption. The enemy tried to convince you that the pain was permanent. But child, the pain was pregnant. It carried something. It prepared something. It purified something. And now I'm beginning to bring forth what the suffering shaped in silence. You didn't bleed in vain. You didn't weep into nothingness. You sowed in tears, and now the harvest is rising. I will make it worth it. I will crown your endurance with evidence. I will take what tried to bury you and make it the soil where miracles bloom. You see, when I said I would work all things together for your good, I meant all. Not just the bright moments, not just the victories, but the dark nights too. The heartbreaks, the betrayals, the closed doors, the seasons you barely survived. All of it. There's nothing in your story that I cannot transform into a platform of my glory. And when you begin to see the fullness of what I've been forming, the divine alignments, the unexpected breakthroughs, the joy that floods your dry places, you will fall to your knees and say, this is what it was all for. This is why I didn't quit. And I will kneel beside you and whisper, yes, beloved, I told you it would be worth it. So don't you dare stop now. Don't sit down in the middle of your becoming. Don't let the pain name your future. Let me do that. Let me finish what I started. Let me crown your suffering with supernatural glory. Because this next season isn't about recovery, it's about revelation. You're about to see what you carried through the fire. You're about to stand in places the enemy swore you'd never reach. You're about to walk into rooms where your scars shine with authority, not shame. This is not the end. It never was. The pain was a prelude, and the glory is on its way. I know how long this journey had been. I know how many times you stumbled, how often you've questioned your endurance, how deeply you feared that you might collapse before the finish. There were days you ran with fire. There were nights you could barely breathe. And yet, here you are, still standing, still seeking, still running. And I want you to hear this now, not as a distant promise, but as a heavenly declaration. You will finish this race, and not calling, not gasping for breath, not empty. You will finish crowned, because I will not let you exit this life empty-handed. I will finish what I started in you, and I will do it with glory. You've been conditioned to believe that finishing well requires perfection, that the only way to please me is to sprint to the end without faltering. But child, that's not how I measure faithfulness. I've watched you limp forward with tears in your eyes and still choose obedience. I've seen you fall and rise again, not because it was easy, but because your heart refused to quit. And I count that as victory. Not because you had no weakness, but because you kept coming back to me in the midst of it. That kind of devotion is rare. That kind of endurance is holy. And I'm preparing a crown, not of gold, but of glory, with your name on it. And here's what I need you to know. I'll be there at the finish line. Not with a checklist, not with disappointment, but with joy. with arms wide open, with eyes filled with tears of pride, because I have watched every step, every silent cry, every battle you fought when no one saw, and I have counted none of it as wasted, none of it as small. You will finish, not just in victory, but in honor, because your life was not aimless. Your journey was not random. It was divinely ordered, and every mile you ran brought heaven joy. So if you feel weary now, remember this: I'm already waiting in the future, cheering you forward. You are not alone in your last laps. You are surrounded by the cloud of witnesses, by angels on assignment, by the echoes of every prayer you've ever whispered, and most of all, by me. I am with you in every step. I will be with you at the end. And when you cross that line, you will not collapse, you will rise. You will finish not just known, but crowned. You've just heard me say, you are mine. I am with you, and I always will be. But there are still many who don't know this truth, still wondering, still weary, still unsure if I even see them. Will you help me reach them? Your gift, through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link in the description, becomes more than money. It becomes manna. It becomes fire. It becomes my voice echoing into broken places you may never see. I will honor your giving with my own hands. I will open doors no man can shut, restore years you thought were lost, and release favor that runs generations deep. So now, and watch what I do with your yes. Before you leave this moment, I want you to do something bold, something prophetic. If you felt my presence whisper I'm with you through these words, then declare it out loud in the comments. God is with me, and I will not walk alone. Let hell hear it. Let heaven echo it. Let your own soul rise with it. This is not just a comment. It's a covenant. Write it, seal it, speak it, because every time you declare what I've spoken, you give permission for my power to move. I am here. I am near. And now, you know it. So lean in closer, child. Let the noise of your day fall away for just a moment. I want to speak with you, not as a distant God in the heavens, but as the very breath in your lungs. Listen to me. Before your name was ever spoken on earth, I knew the sound of it in eternity. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, when you were just a thought of love in my heart, I was there. My presence was not something added to you later. It was the very first seal I placed upon your soul. It is a fundamental fact of your existence. You feel that pressure to prove yourself, don't you? At your job, you strive to be seen, to be valued. In your family, you carry unspoken tensions, hoping someone will notice the weight you bear. You feel overlooked, and in the quiet of the night you wonder if I see you, really see you. Let this truth sink into the deepest parts of your being. You have never, for a single moment, been unknown to me. My presence is not a reward for your perfection. Pause now. Read that again. It is not a prize you earn when you get everything right. I see you when you stumble. I see your frustration when you fall short of the person you want to be. I see the knot in your stomach when you fear you have disappointed me. That feeling isn't for me. Let's undo it together. Breathe. My being with you is a constant, foundational gift flowing from my very nature. It is who I am. I am the God who is with you. It is as unchanging as the rhythm of your own heart. In fact, that steady beat is a reminder of me. I am that close. You look for me in the spectacular, in the grand signs and thunderous answers, but I am in the quiet, steady beat of your own life. You do not need to shout for my attention. I know you feel like you have to, that your prayers are just one more voice in a world of billions, all clamoring to be heard. But I hear the softest whisper of your soul. I hear the prayer you can't even form into words, the ache, the longing, the silent tear. The world shouts for your attention, but I speak in the hush. I am not in the earthquake of your anxieties, with the fire of your fears. I am in the stillness that follows. You are looking for me, but you have never been separate from me. My presence was given not with words alone, but woven into the very tapestry of your creation. It is in your spiritual DNA. You cannot lose it. You cannot outrun it. You cannot disappoint your way out of it. It simply is. So when you feel that loneliness creeping in, or that old fear that you are not good enough, I want you to stop. Be still, and feel the simple, profound truth. I am here. I am with you. My child, as the sun breaks the horizon, as the first light cuts through your window, I am there. Before the alarm clock sounds, before your feet hit the floor, I am already present with you. This stillness, this quiet before the world begins its clamor, is sacred space, is our time. My mercies dawn upon you in these moments, new and abundant for the day ahead. What is the very first thought that enters your mind when you wake? Is it the heavy list of all you must do? Is it the dread of that difficult meeting? The anxiety over the conversation you must have? The weight of the bills that are due? I see that mental to-do list forming, the pressure beginning to build before you have even taken a full breath. You brace yourself for the day like a soldier preparing for battle. But I am inviting you into a different way of beginning. I am the peace that greets you before the demands begin shouting. Commit your waking moments to me. Before your hand reaches for your phone, before you are flooded with the news and the notifications and the needs of others, turn your heart to me. Let your very first thought be a conversation with me. You don't need formal words. A simple good morning, Lord, I need you today, is a prayer that moves heaven. When you do this, you set a divine tone for all that follows. You invite me to walk beside you through every hour, every task, every interaction. The stillness of your morning is not empty. It is filled with my strength and all the potential I have planned for your day. Listen in the early quiet. Do you hear it? Underneath the hum of the refrigerator or the distant sound of traffic, there is a deeper silence. It is in that quiet that I often speak most clearly to a heart that is open and uncluttered. I want to prepare you for the day, to arm your soul with my peace, which is a shield against the chaos that will come. Hand over to me that meeting you are dreading. Give me the financial worry that woke you in the night. Place that strained relationship in my hands before you even see the person. Let me carry these things for you, so you can walk through your day with freedom and a lightened spirit. I am not asking for an hour of prayer before dawn, unless that is what your heart desires. I am simply asking for the first fruits of your consciousness, the very first turn of your thoughts. Anchor your mind in me, and I will keep you in perfect peace, even when the storms of your day begin to rage. This is my promise to you, new every single morning. I know the feeling that grips you when you look ahead. It is like driving in a dense fog, your hands tight on the wheel, able to see only a few feet in front of you. You desperately want a map, a 5-year plan, a clear sign that tells you you're going the right way. Your mind races with questions. Is this the right career? Will this relationship last? How will I provide for my family next year? The what-ifs become a deafening chorus and the uncertainty feels like a physical weight. My child, listen to my voice cutting through that fog. I am the lamp to your feet. Notice, I am a lamp for your feet, not a floodlight for the entire valley. I give you just enough light for the very next step. That is all you need, because I am the guide who is holding your hand. Your anxiety comes from trying to see the entire staircase. My peace comes when you trust me for the next single step. Do not be anxious about the destination. Do you think I have led you this far only to abandon you in confusion? The fog is from the world. It is a product of fear and the human need for control. The clarity you seek is a gift I bestow upon those who simply ask and trust. Even when you cannot see the road, you can feel my hand on your shoulder, steering you. How many times have I guided you away from a hidden danger you knew nothing about? How many times has a no from me been a protection from a path that would have led to pain? Your uncertainty does not diminish my sovereignty. It does not shake my master plan for you. In fact, it is often in your not knowing that you learn to lean on me most fully. You look at the crooked lines of your past, the detours, the mistakes, and you wonder how any of it can lead to something beautiful. But I am the God who makes the crooked paths straight. I am the master weaver who can take the tangled, broken threads of your life and create a masterpiece. So walk forward in faith. Take the next step that is illuminated before you. I am already ahead of you. I am already in your tomorrows, preparing the way. Trust the guide. You don't need to see the destination when you know the one who is leading you there. You are in a difficult place. I see it. I feel it with you. This valley is dark, and the shadows play tricks on your mind. This is the valley of grief, of a terrifying diagnosis, of a deep betrayal, of a season where your spirit feels crushed. Do you feel the chill of this place? I am not distant from it. I am walking through it right beside you. You never walk this dark passage alone. When you feel a presence behind you, know that it is me, your defender, your rear guard. My rod and my staff are there, not as gentle suggestions, but as weapons of defense and tools of guidance. They are here to comfort you, to fend off the fears that snap at your heels. Fear not the shadows, my child. What is a shadow? It is merely the proof of a light that it cannot overcome. The deeper the shadow, the brighter the light that casts it. Turn around. I am that light. The enemy, the father of lies, loves the acoustics of this valley. His whispers echo off the walls, telling you that this darkness is your new reality, that you will be stuck here forever. He points to the shadows and tells you they are monsters. That is his greatest lie. Listen to me. My voice of truth roars louder than his deceit. This valley is a corridor, not a dwelling place. It has an entrance and it has an exit. It is a necessary passage, but it is not your final destination. I am waiting for you on the other side, and more than that, I am with you in every single step through it. It is in the deepest darkness that my presence often becomes the most brilliant and undeniable beacon for those who will look for me. Every tear you shed in this place is not wasted. It is a prayer I hear, a language of the heart that I understand perfectly. I collect them all. Not one is lost. So do not despair. Do not believe the lie that you are alone or that this night will never end. The dawn is coming. For now, just keep walking, and know that the shepherd of your soul is closer than you can possibly imagine, guiding you, defending you, and leading you safely home. I see you. I see those victories that no one else notices, and I rejoice with you. You held your tongue when a sharp, angry word was on the tip of it. You chose patience with your child when you were exhausted. You resisted that old temptation that has held you captive for so long. You finished that difficult task you have been putting off. The world does not give awards for these things. There are no promotions, no accolades. But in the courts of heaven, there is celebration. These quiet triumphs, these small, unseen victories of the heart, are precious to me. They are the evidence of your love, the proof that my Spirit is at work within you. And I want you to acknowledge them, not with pride, but with joy. Do you remember that creative idea that helped you solve the problem at work? That sudden insight, that wave of strength that got you through a workout, that moment of grace that allowed you to forgive? Where do you think these things come from? Acknowledge that every good and perfect gift, every skill you possess, and every success you achieve flows from my hand of grace. When you do this, your gratitude rises like a sweet incense. It is a testament to the strength I provide, and it opens the door for me to pour out even more. These triumphs are not meant to puff up your pride. They are glimpses of the glorious potential I have woven into your very being. They are foretastes of the person you are becoming in me. So share your joy. When someone asks how you managed a difficult situation, do not say, "I just have a lot of willpower." Let your answer be a powerful testimony to my faithfulness. Tell them, "It was not me but the strength of God within me." This does not diminish your effort. It places it in its proper context. It glorifies me and gives hope to others. Remember, my child, I am the God of the mountaintops. I am with you in the grand, public victories. But I am also the God of the valleys, and I am most certainly the God of the quiet, gentle hills of your daily, unseen triumphs. Celebrate them with me. My child, we have just begun to rejoice together in your unseen victories. To leave now would be to quiet the song I am singing over you before it is finished. My heart yearns to show you how I am with you not just in triumph, but in the deep ache of loss that I know you also carry. Do not turn away from the comfort that awaits you. My beloved child, your heart is broken. I am not asking you to pretend it is whole. The pain you feel from your loss, the empty chair at the table, the dream that has died, the relationship that has ended, is real and it is deep. I do not stand far off, demanding that you be strong or get over it. That is the language of a world that is uncomfortable with grief. I am the God of all comfort, and my first response is to draw near, to sit with you in the silence of your sorrow. When your tears fall, know that I am weeping with you. Your grief is not a burden to me. It is not an inconvenience. Bring me the shattered pieces of your heart. You do not have to try and put them back together first. Just bring me the pieces. I will hold them. I will hold you. Listen to me carefully. Do not allow this loss to become your identity. It is a chapter in your story, a deeply painful one, but it is not the entire book. I am the great restorer of hope and the author of new beginnings. The hollow space you feel in your heart, that gaping ache that takes your breath away, do not fear it. I will come and dwell in that empty place. I will pour my Spirit into the hollows to be your fullness. I will not erase the memory of what you have lost, but I will fill the emptiness with a presence that heals and a peace that surpasses all understanding. Lean your full weight upon me. Do you hear me? Your full weight. You are trying to carry some of this yourself, to be brave for others. But right now, in the presence of your Father, you can let it all go. My shoulders are strong enough to carry your heaviest pains. I do not erase the scars that this loss will leave. Scars are a sign that a wound has healed. Instead, I will redeem them. I will take what was meant for utter devastation, and I will weave it into a beautiful purpose, creating in you a depth of compassion and a testimony of grace that you could have gained in no other way. Your pain will become a well of comfort for others. But for now, just rest. Rest in my arms. I am here. I'm holding you. And I will not let you go. My child, your world is so loud. It screams for your attention from the moment you wake until your head hits the pillow. The phone in your hand buzzes and pings, a relentless stream of demands, opinions, and images of lives that look so much more perfect than your own. The news cycle shouts with fear and division. The voices at work are filled with pressure and expectation. Even in your own home, the noise of unspoken anxieties and daily stresses can be deafening. You feel pulled in 1,000 different directions, and your soul is tired. You try to find me, but you think you have to shout over the chaos. You believe my voice is just one more sound competing for your attention. But that is not where I am. Remember my prophet Elijah. He looked for me in the wind, the earthquake, and the fire, but I was not there. My voice is a still, small whisper that cuts through the chaos, but you must learn to listen for it. I am your fortress of peace when the anxieties and opinions of others feel like a siege. You do not have to retreat from the world to find me. You don't have to climb a mountain or lock yourself in a room, though there is beauty in that. I am teaching you to find me in the midst of your life. I am with you in the traffic jam when your frustration is rising. I am with you in the tense beating when the words of others sting. I am with you in the checkout line at the grocery store. I am inviting you to tune your spirit to my frequency. Think of it like tuning an old radio. There is a lot of static and noise, but if you turn the dial carefully and patiently, you can find the clear channel. My spirit within you is that dial. In the middle of a chaotic moment, I want you to practice this. Take a single, deep breath. In that small pause, in that quiet space you just created, turn your heart to me. That is all it takes to find the clear channel. Let my truth be the anchor that holds you steady in the turbulent sea of worldly information. The world will always be loud. Opinions will always fly. But you can be still and know that I am God, even when everything around you is in motion. My peace is a quiet center within you, a silent fortress that the noise of the world cannot penetrate. Come, find refuge here with me. Let's talk about what keeps you awake at night. Let's speak its name. Fear is a shadow that follows you, whispering lies about your future, your worth, and your safety. What is the fear that has you by the throat today? Is it the fear of failure, the terror that you will not measure up at your job or in your family? Is it the fear of rejection, that if people knew the real you, they would turn away? Is it the fear of financial ruin, of not having enough? Is it the fear for your children's safety in a world that seems so broken? My child, drag that fear out of the darkness. Name it before me right now. Speak it out loud. Do not let it hide in the corners of your mind any longer. Watch what happens when you expose it to my light. You will see it for what it is, a powerless bully, a liar with a loud voice, but no real authority. My perfect love casts out all fear. Step out of the haunted house of what if and into the solid reality of I am. The enemy has handed you a script filled with worst-case scenarios. What if you get sick? What if they leave? What if you lose it all? Today I am tearing up that script. I am giving you a new one, a better one. It is rooted in my very name. I am your provider. I am your protector. I am your healer. I am with you. I have not given you a spirit of fear. That is not a gift from me. The spirit I have placed within you is one of power, of love, and of a sound mind. When fear whispers that you are inadequate, my spirit declares that you are more than a conqueror through me. When fear screams that you are in danger, I remind you that I am your shield and your defender. The feeling of fear is temporary. It is a chemical reaction, a surge of emotion. But my presence as your protector is eternal. It is a fact that stands firm against all feelings. So when that old, familiar fear begins to rise, Do not partner with it. Do not entertain its lies. Instead, stand on the truth of who I am and who I have made you to be. Your fear cannot stand against the authority of your Creator who loves you with a perfect love. The ache of loneliness. It is one of the deepest pains of the human heart. It can find you in a crowded room, making you feel invisible. It can find you on a Friday night when you scroll through pictures of others laughing and connecting. It can find you in your own home, surrounded by people, yet feeling completely and utterly misunderstood. This feeling whispers to you that no one truly sees you, no one truly knows you, no one truly cares. And in your most vulnerable moments, it tells you the most painful lie of all, that even I have forgotten you. My child, I want to speak directly to that ache right now. You are never, ever truly alone, for I have promised, I will never leave you, nor forsake you. This is not a poetic sentiment. It is a divine, unbreakable covenant. You must learn to distinguish between a feeling and a fact. Loneliness is a feeling. It is real, it is powerful, and it hurts. I do not dismiss your feeling, but my presence is a fact. It is a reality that is more real than your pain, more constant than your circumstances. Let the fact of my presence be the rock you stand on when the waves of loneliness threaten to pull you under. I see you when no one else does. I know the thoughts you cannot speak, the intentions of your heart, the silent battles you fight every day. The enemy, the great deceiver, wants you to believe you are isolated. He knows that if he can make you feel alone, he can make you feel weak and hopeless. But the truth of my companionship is your divine inheritance. I am the friend that sticks closer than a brother. In the moments when you feel most isolated, I am often doing my deepest work. I am using the quiet to strip away your reliance on others and to draw you into a more intimate fellowship with me, a conversation so deep and real that it satisfies the very core of your soul. You are not forsaken. You are not forgotten. You are being drawn closer. In the stillness, in the quiet where the loneliness seems loudest, listen. I am there. I am speaking your name. I am with you. Are you tired? Are you weary of trying to be strong, of holding it all together, of putting on a brave face when you feel like you are crumbling inside? Good. Let that be a relief to you. Now you are in the perfect position to receive my strength. Your world defines strength as self-sufficiency, independence, never showing weakness. My definition is the exact opposite. True strength is found when you come to the end of your own resources and fall into mine. My power is made perfect in your weakness. Do you truly understand what that means? Your vulnerabilities, your insecurities, the places where you feel most inadequate. Do not despise them. Those cracks in your armor are the very places where my power loves to flow in and my light loves to shine through. As long as you pretend to be strong on your own, you block the flow of my supernatural ability. The strength I give is not for worldly power or brute force. It is not so you can dominate others or build your own kingdom. The strength I give is for endurance when you want to quit. It is for patience when you are frustrated. It is for love when it is hard to love. It is the strength to forgive, the strength to be kind, the strength to persevere in doing good when you see no immediate results. You tell yourself, I can't do this. And you are right. You can't. But you can do all things through me, for I am the one who infuses you with a strength that is not your own. Stop trying to feel strong. Strength is not a feeling you must conjure up. It is a wellspring deep inside of you, and I am its source. Your job is not to create the water. It is simply to lower the bucket through faith and draw from my infinite supply. When you feel depleted, when your energy is gone, and you have nothing left to give, See it as a signal, an alarm bell. It is reminding you to stop relying on your own limited reserves and to plug into my limitless power. The joy I give you, the deep, steady gladness that is independent of your circumstances, that joy is your strength. Let it be the fuel that propels you forward today. Acknowledge your weakness and receive my power. You have just received my strength, my child, not as a reservoir to be hoarded, but as a mighty river meant to flow from you. As this divine power settles in your spirit, your heart may burn with a desire to send this living water to the souls who are still weak and weary. This is my spirit calling you to act. I am the one who gives seed to the sower, and I now declare over you that as you sow from the strength I give you, I will multiply your seed and increase the harvest of your righteousness. Your gift becomes a current of my power, carrying this word to the thirsty and the broken. This is your divine appointment to release the flow. Do not hesitate. Sow your seed of faith now through Super Thanks membership with a link below, and watch as I cause a river to spring forth from your obedience. I have just shared with you the secret of my strength, trusting your heart with this divine mystery. It would grieve me to see you walk away now, only to try and be strong on your own again. The next thing I must reveal, where my living voice waits for you on the written page, is the very map you need for this journey. Will you leave before I can give it to you? You hold that book in your hands or see it on your screen, and what do you feel? For many, it has become a duty, a source of guilt, or a collection of ancient, unrelatable stories. You try to read it, but your mind wanders. The words feel dry, the rules feel heavy, and you walk away feeling more condemned than comforted. My child, I want to completely transform your experience with my word. The Bible is not merely a history book or a rule book. It is a living love letter, written across the ages, but addressed directly to you, right here in your present moment. It is my voice, captured in ink, waiting to speak into the reality of your life. When you open its pages, you are not just reading, you are entering into a dialogue with me. I want you to approach it differently. Don't come to it as a task to be checked off a list. Come to it as a meeting with me. Find a quiet place. You do not have to read for an hour. Take a single verse, a single sentence, and don't just read it. Meditate on it. Chew on it. Turn it over in your mind. Ask me, what are you saying to me in this? How does this apply to the fear I'm facing, the decision I have to make, the person I'm struggling with? And then be still and allow my spirit, the author of these words, to illuminate their truth in your heart. In these pages, you will find everything you need. You will find my promises when you need hope. You will discover my character when you need to know who I truly am. You will discern my will when you feel lost. And on every single page, you will find the story of my unfailing, relentless love for you. You would not go for days without food, would you? Your physical body would grow weak. Why do you treat your soul differently? My word is your spiritual food. If you neglect it, your spirit will become malnourished and weak, susceptible to the lies of the enemy. But if you feast upon it, you will thrive. My voice in the word is a steadfast compass. In a world of shifting morals and confusing messages, it always points you toward truth, toward hope, and toward life. Come, let us talk together through my word. My child, I have designed you for connection. I know the cry of your heart for belonging, for a place where you are known and loved. Yet I also see the walls you have built. I see the hurt from past experiences in churches, the sting of judgment from those who were supposed to show you my love. I see your social anxiety, the fear that you don't quite fit in, that your questions are too much, that your faith is too small. I see how your busy schedule becomes a convenient excuse to avoid the messy, beautiful, and necessary work of community. You have tried to make your faith a private affair, a conversation just between you and me. And while our personal connection is the very foundation, it is not the whole building. You have heard the words, "Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them." This is not just a pleasant saying. It is a profound spiritual reality. My presence manifests in a special and tangible way when my children come together. You cannot see the fullness of who I am on your own. You see a reflection of my heart in the compassion of a brother who sits with you in your grief. You hear a whisper of my wisdom in the advice of a sister who has walked the path before you. You feel the strength of my arms in the friends who help you move, who bring you a meal when you are sick, who pray for you when you cannot find the words. Do not forsake this gathering. To do so is to cut yourself off from the very channels of grace I have created for you. When you share your burdens with another believer, you are allowing them to be my hands and feet in your life, and you are fulfilling my law of love. Their prayer for you is not just a hopeful thought. It is a sweet and powerful aroma that rises to my throne, and I honor the unified faith of my family. I am present in the awkward coffee after a service. I am present in the forgiveness you extend to someone in your small group who has wronged you. I am present in the shared laughter and the shared tears. The community I call you to is not a museum for saints. It is a hospital for sinners. It is not about finding perfect people. They do not exist. It is about practicing love, grace, and forgiveness with other imperfect people, and in that practice, you all become more like me. So be brave. Step out from behind your walls. Risk being known. Find a place where my word is honored and love is practiced, however imperfectly, and plant yourself there. Allow others to be me to you, and have the courage to be me to them. That is where you will find a strength you will never find alone. Come here. Bring your doubts with you. You do not have to hide them from me or pretend they do not exist. I am not afraid of your questions. The heart-wrenching why, the whispered "Are you really there?" the painful "Do you truly care about this mess I'm in?" I hear them all, and I do not turn away. You have been taught, perhaps, that doubt is the enemy of faith, that a good believer has no questions. That is a misunderstanding. Doubt is not the opposite of faith. Unbelief is. Unbelief is a locked door, a refusal to seek. Honest doubt, your doubt, is often the very soil in which a deeper, more resilient faith begins to grow. It is an ache that sends you searching for me, and I have promised that all who seek me will find me. I want you to see the difference. The doubter says, "I am not sure, but I want to be." The unbeliever says, "I do not know, and I do not care to." Your wrestling is not a sign of your weakness. It is a sign of your sincerity. Remember my servant Thomas. He is remembered for his doubt, but I remember him for his honesty. He would not pretend to a faith he did not feel. And how did I respond? Did I rebuke him? Did I cast him out? No. I met him in the very center of his uncertainty. I came to him, showed him my scars, and invited him to touch. My response to your honest doubt is not anger, but an invitation to come closer. Do not allow your doubts to fester in the darkness of your own mind. That is where the enemy twists them into unbelief. Drag them into my light through prayer and my word. When your mind is clouded with the doubt that I am good, I want you to counter it. Speak out loud and remember my past faithfulness. Recall a specific time I provided for you, a moment I comforted you, a prayer I answered. Your memory is a powerful weapon. Doubt creates a fog, But remembering my faithfulness is like turning on the high beams of your car. It cuts through the haze and shows you the road you have already traveled safely with me. When your faith feels impossibly small, as tiny and insignificant as a mustard seed, know this: I am not focused on the size of your faith. I am focused on the object of your faith. A tiny seed of faith placed in me, your all-powerful and all-loving God, is enough for me to move the mountains of uncertainty in your life. So do not fear your doubts. Bring them to me and let's walk through them together. My child, you are overwhelmed. Your life is surrounded by concrete and screens, by deadlines and demands. Your soul feels starved for beauty, for wonder. I want you to do something for me. Go outside. Step away from your desk, put down your phone, and just go outside. Even for 5 minutes. I want to restore your perspective. Look up. That vast expanse of sky, whether it is brilliant blue or filled with the drama of storm clouds, is a canvas I painted. It declares my immensity. Can you see a tree from where you are? Look at it. I mean, really look at it. See the texture of the bark, the intricate pattern of veins on a single leaf. That tree stands as a testament to my strength and faithfulness, quietly growing, season after season. All of creation shouts of my glory, but you have forgotten how to listen. I am speaking to you through my handiwork. The mountains proclaim my unshakable strength. The oceans echo with the sound of my limitless power. But it is not only in the grand and the epic. I am present in the small things. Can you hear a bird singing? That is a song of pure, unanxious praise, a reminder to you to cast your cares on me. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. That is a faint echo of the warmth of my love, a tangible reminder of my goodness. The consistent turning of the seasons, the reliable rising of the sun each morning. These are all testaments to my orderly design and my unwavering faithfulness. When you feel that your life is chaotic and unpredictable, look at the moon and the stars. I have set them in their courses, and they obey me perfectly. I who can orchestrate the cosmos can surely bring order to your life. Take a deep breath of fresh air. That is my breath of life, filling your lungs, sustaining you. See my artistry in the vibrant colors of a flower, my creativity in the unique pattern of a snowflake. See how it all works in perfect harmony. And then, in the midst of all this splendor, I want you to hear this truth. You, my child, are my most cherished masterpiece. As magnificent as a sunset is, as majestic as a mountain range is, neither was created in my image. You were. The same hands that sculpted the mountains and filled the oceans formed you with intimate love and attention. Let my creation remind you of your Creator, and in that remembering, may you rediscover your own incredible worth. Temptation. It comes to you disguised as a friend, offering a moment of relief, a flash of pleasure, a way to escape your pain. I see the struggles you face, the secret battles you fight that no one else knows about. The temptation to speak that sharp, gossipy word. The temptation to look at things you should not look at, to indulge thoughts that pull you away from me. The temptation to numb your anxiety with too much food, or drink, or endless scrolling. The temptation to be dishonest to get ahead, or to surrender to a bitter and unforgiving spirit. Listen to me. The fact that you are tempted is not a sin. It is not a sign of your failure. It is simply a part of the human condition in a fallen world. The sin is not in the call of temptation, but in your yielding to it. And I am with you to empower you to choose righteousness. I will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you can bear. Read that again. I will not. It is a promise. And with every single temptation, I provide a way of escape. Your task is to look for it. It may be a sudden thought of my word. It may be your phone ringing at the exact right moment. It may be a simple, deep breath that allows you to pause and choose a different path. Flee from sin, my child. Do not stand and debate with it. Do not entertain it. Flee from it and run into my arms, which are your refuge and your safe harbor. The enemy is a terrible salesman. He shows you a picture of the bait but hides the hook. He promises freedom and delivers addiction. He promises pleasure and delivers shame. His temptations are merely cheap imitations, hollow counterfeits of the true joy, true peace, and true fulfillment that are found only in me. So, arm yourself. Your willpower alone is not enough. You must use the weapon I have given you, my word. It is the sword of the Spirit. When Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, he fought back not with argument, but with Scripture. When temptation whispers a lie, you must speak my truth back to it. When you feel weak, when you feel the pull is too strong, that is the moment to cry out to me. Confess your weakness. Say, I cannot do this on my own. In that moment of surrender, my grace becomes your strength. I am with you in the battle. You are not fighting alone. We have walked through the fire of temptation together, and I have held you fast. My heart aches at the thought of you leaving this conversation now, still believing you are defined by the times you have stumbled. There is a grace that covers all your failings that I must show you. To turn away would be to choose the shadow of shame over the light of my full embrace. Please, stay with me. My child, let's talk about your failings, your mistakes, the things you have done that fill you with shame. I see you replaying them in your mind, over and over. I hear the voice of the accuser whispering in your ear that you have gone too far this time, that you have finally exhausted my patience, that your sin is a permanent stain on your soul. And voice is a liar. I want you to hear my truth, and I want it to silence that voice forever. My grace is a safety net. It is spread out beneath you at all times, and when you stumble, when you fall, it catches you. Every single time. Your stumbles do not disqualify you from my love. They simply give you another opportunity to experience the height, depth, and width of my grace. When you confess your sins, when you turn to me with a truly sorry heart, I am faithful and just to forgive you, and, this is crucial, to cleanse you from all unrighteousness. I do not just pardon you, I wash you clean. Do not live in the shame of your past. Why would you carry a burden that I have already paid for? Imagine a debt that you could never repay. Now imagine that my son stepped in, paid the entire debt, and had the receipt stamped with his own blood, paid in full. That is what he did on the cross. Your sin is covered, canceled, and remembered no more by me. To live in shame is to insult that incredible sacrifice. It is like trying to pay a debt that has already been cleared. And now hear this carefully. My grace is not a license to sin. It is not a cheap permission slip to do whatever you want, knowing you can just ask for forgiveness later. A true understanding of the cost of my grace will break your heart for the things that break mine. It will not make you want to sin more. It will empower you to sin less. Grace is not just my pardon for your past. It is my power for your present. Where your sin abounds, my grace abounds all the more. There is no mistake you can make that is bigger than my mercy. There is no pit you can fall into that is deeper than my love. Today I am commanding you to do two things. First, receive my forgiveness freely and fully. Stop punishing yourself for what I have already forgiven. Let the chains of your past fall to the floor. Second, I want you to take the grace you have so freely received and extend it to others. The person who wronged you, the one you are holding bitterness against, release them. Forgive them as I have forgiven you. In doing so, you complete the circle of grace, and you will walk in a freedom you have never known before. My child, you have been taught to look for me in the magnificent and the spectacular. You expect a burning bush, a parted sea, a voice that shakes the mountains. And yes, I am the God of awesome wonders. But if you only look for me there, you will miss me everywhere else. You will miss me in the vast majority of your life, which is lived not on mountaintops, but on the level ground of the everyday. I see the drudgery that can settle into your soul, the endless cycle of waking, working, eating, sleeping, the laundry that is never done, the dishes that pile up in the sink, the commute through the same traffic on the same roads. A part of you cries out, "Is this all there is?" You feel that your life is a series of meaningless, repetitive tasks, and you wonder where I am in all of it. Listen to me. Do not seek me only in the spectacular, for I am intimately and profoundly involved in the ordinary details of your life. I am the God of the mundane. When you are standing at the sink, with your hands in the warm water, washing the dishes from your family's meal, I am there with you. That is a moment of potential communion. You can fill it with frustration and resentment, or you can consecrate it to me. You can use that quiet rhythm to thank me for the food you just ate, to pray for the people who ate it with you, to simply be still in my presence. When you are folding laundry, you are not just folding clothes, you are touching the fabric of your family's life. As you fold your child's shirt, you can pray for their day. As you fold your spouse's clothes, you can thank me for them. In this simple act, a chore is transformed into an act of intercession, an act of love, an act of worship. Your commute to work does not have to be a time of stress and anxiety. It can be a sanctuary, a sacred space in your day where the world is shut out and you and I can talk. Consecrate these daily tasks to me and watch them be transformed. My presence brings purpose to the routine and meaning to the mundane. There is no task too small to be done for my glory. The way you answer an email, the way you listen to a coworker, the way you prepare a meal, all of it can be an offering to me. Stop waiting for your life to get exciting before you start looking for me. I am here, now, in the middle of your real, ordinary life. Find joy in the simple, everyday blessings, the taste of your coffee, the comfort of your bed, the sound of rain on the roof. They are not small things. They are the constant, quiet, persistent reminders of my sustaining love for you. The silence is deafening, isn't it? You have poured out your heart to me. You have prayed with tears, with fasting, with every ounce of faith you could muster. You prayed for healing for that loved one, and the sickness progressed. You prayed for the restoration of that relationship, and the door was slammed shut. You begged for a financial breakthrough, and the bills are still piling up. And in the silence that follows, a terrible question begins to form in your soul. Are you even listening? Do you even care? The pain of an unanswered prayer can be one of the deepest challenges to your faith. It can make you feel abandoned, ignored, and foolish for ever believing. I want to speak directly into that pain right now. My silence is not my absence. My lack of an immediate yes is not a sign of my displeasure. I hear every single prayer. I catch every tear. I am more invested in your life than you can possibly imagine, and I am always working. You must trust my timing. You see your life from the ground, a tangled and confusing path. I see it from eternity, a finished tapestry whose pattern is perfect. What seems like a devastating delay to you is, from my perspective, the perfect and necessary timing to bring about the greatest good. Sometimes my answer is wait, not because I am cruel, but because you are not ready for the thing you have asked for. where the circumstances are not yet aligned for it to be a true blessing. And sometimes, my child, my answer is no. I need you to understand this. My no is not a rejection of you. It is a protection for you. You are like a child asking to play with fire, not understanding the danger. As your loving Father, I will not give you something that I know will ultimately harm you or lead you away from me. Unanswered prayer may be a protected prayer. The job you didn't get, the relationship that didn't work out, you cannot see the sorrow I was shielding you from. The purpose of prayer is not to bend my will to fit your desires. The true purpose of persistent prayer is to align your heart with my perfect will, to trust me more deeply, to learn to want what I want for you. So do not give up. Keep bringing your heart to me, even in its confusion and pain. I am not offended by your struggle. I am with you in it. And even when you cannot see my hand, you can trust my heart. I am working all things together for your good. Do you ever look at your life and wonder what it's all for? You see the passing of days, the cycle of work and rest, the moments of joy and the seasons of sorrow, and you ask, is this it? Is there a point to all of this? That feeling of meaninglessness, of being a cosmic accident, is a life from the pit of hell. Listen to my truth. You are not an accident. You are a divine project. You were created on purpose, for a purpose that only you can fulfill. Your life is not a random series of events. I am the master weaver, and I am taking every thread of your existence, the bright threads of joy, the dark threads of pain, the tangled threads of your mistakes, the strong threads of your victories, and I am weaving them together into a beautiful and intricate tapestry for my glory. Right now, from your perspective on the underside, all you can see are the knots, the mess, the seemingly chaotic jumble of threads. It doesn't make sense. But I see it from above. I see the stunning image that is emerging, the masterpiece that your life is becoming. The world has tried to sell you a false definition of purpose. It has told you that your purpose is found in your career, in your title, in how much money you make, in who you marry, in how successful your children are. These things are blessings, venues, and contexts, but they are not your primary purpose. Your ultimate purpose is profoundly simple and eternally significant. It is to know me and to make me known. It is to receive my love so fully that it naturally overflows from you onto everyone you meet. Your unique personality, your spiritual gifts, your talents, your passions, these are not random. They are the specific tools I have given you to fulfill your unique calling within that grand purpose. This is why you must stop comparing your journey to others. You scroll through their lives online and see their tapestry from a distance, where it looks neat and perfect, and you feel that your own messy underside is a sign of failure. Do not do this. It is a trap that steals your joy and distracts you from the unique path I have laid out for you. Your journey is not theirs. I have a custom designed plan for your life. How do you walk in this grand purpose? It is not as complicated as you think. You do it by fulfilling the small, daily acts of love and obedience that I place before you. Be faithful in the little things, the kind word, the honest transaction, the patient response, the secret prayer. In doing these things, you are not just passing the time. You are weaving your part of the masterpiece. You are walking in the very center of my will. I see your heart. You want to make a difference, but you feel overwhelmed. You look at your own problems, your own lack of resources, your own busy schedule, and you think, what do I have to offer? I can barely keep my own head above water. And so you turn inward, focusing on your own survival, your own needs. But I am calling you to look up and to look out. The path to your own healing and joy is found not in self-focus, but in selfless service. I am telling you a divine secret. When you serve the least of these, the poor, the lonely, the sick, the forgotten, you are serving me directly. When you offer a cup of cold water, you are offering it to me. When you visit someone in prison, you are visiting me. When you encourage a discouraged soul, you are speaking my words of life to me. I am present in your every act of kindness. Your service is your faith in action. It is the tangible, visible evidence of the invisible work I have done in your heart. It is the natural expression of the love I have poured into you. And I want to redefine service for you. You think of it as something grand, a mission trip, a large donation, a public ministry, and it can be those things. But more often, I am calling you to small, hidden acts of love. Service is truly listening to a coworker's story when you are busy. It is offering a genuine word of encouragement to a stranger. It is patiently helping your child with their homework when you are exhausted. It is forgiving someone who doesn't deserve it. These are the sacrifices that are a sweet aroma to me. Do not serve for the applause of man. If your motive is to be seen and praised, you have already received your reward. Serve with a humble heart, in secret, seeking only to please me. And I, who see what is done in secret, will reward you openly. Serving others is the antidote to the poison of selfishness. It breaks the chains of self-pity and anxiety. You cannot be consumed with your own problems when you are focused on the needs of another. In giving, you receive a joy that you can never find by hoarding your time and resources for yourself. Do not say, "I am not equipped." I equip every person I call. If I place a need before you, I will also place the grace, the strength, and the resources in your hand to meet it. You are my vessel in a world that is desperate for my love. Be my hands. Be my feet. Be my voice. Serve. I have just commissioned you to be my hands and feet, to be my love made visible in a world that aches for a sign. If your heart burns to answer this call and reach souls far beyond your physical touch, know that this is my direct invitation. Your gift is not merely a donation. It is spiritual manna you are sending into the wilderness, feeding those who are starving for a word of hope. I have declared, "Give, and it will be given to you." And I now seal that promise upon your house, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Do not let this holy fire in your heart cool. This is your moment to serve on a scale you cannot see. Become the answer to another's prayer now through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description. I have just commissioned you, my beloved, to carry my love into the world, and my heart is filled with a holy pride for the purpose on your life. But how can you fully walk into your future if you are still a prisoner of your past? It would grieve my spirit to send you out half-healed. Let me show you the thread of my faithfulness through all your yesterdays. Do not leave this holy ground before you are fully equipped. Let's look back together. I know that for you, looking at the past can be a painful exercise. It can be a field of landmines, filled with regrets, shame, and memories of deep hurt. The accuser loves for you to look back with criticism, to be defined by your failures. But I want to teach you to look back through the lens of my grace. When you do, you will not see a random mess. You will see the undeniable, golden thread of my faithfulness woven through every single season of your life. Look closely. Can you see it? Even in your darkest moments, I was there. Even in your most foolish mistakes, I was working. Even when you felt most alone, I was orchestrating your rescue. Do not be defined by your past regrets, but allow yourself to be refined by the lessons I have taught you through them. I waste nothing, my child. Every tear you cried has watered the soil of your soul for future growth. Every failure has taught you a humility you could not have learned otherwise. Every wound you suffered has the potential to become a source of healing for others. I want you to remember my past deliverances. Make a list, if you must. Remember the time I provided when you thought there was no way. Remember the time I gave you peace in the middle of a storm. Remember the time I healed a broken relationship. Remember the time I rescued you from your own foolish choices. Why? Because your memory of my past faithfulness is the foundation of your faith for the future. These are your stones of remembrance, the evidence that proves I am a God who can be trusted. The one who delivered you then will surely deliver you again. Your history is not your prison. It is your testimony. It is the story of my grace, and it is a powerful weapon that can bring hope to others who are trapped in the same place as you once were. And now, there is one more thing we must do as we look back. We must forgive. You must release those who have wronged you. Holding on to bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It only destroys you. Forgiving them does not mean what they did was okay. It means you are entrusting them to me, the only righteous judge, and you are choosing to set your own heart free. Finally, celebrate your progress. Do not focus only on how far you have to go. Look back and see how far you have come. That growth, that change, that is not your own doing. It is the patient, persistent, sanctifying work of my Spirit within you. Be grateful for it. Your past is not a source of shame. It is a monument to my grace. My child, your gaze is fixed on the horizon, and I see the anxiety that clouds your eyes. The future feels like a great unknown, a fog-filled landscape where anything could go wrong. Your mind builds elaborate scenarios of potential disasters. Will I have enough money to retire? Will my children make good choices and be safe? Will my health fail me? Will I end up alone? This habit of future tripping, of borrowing trouble from a tomorrow that has not yet been born, is a heavy burden, and it is one I never asked you to carry. You try to find security by planning for every contingency, by trying to control every variable, but it only leaves you exhausted and more afraid, because you are trying to be the god of your own future. I am inviting you to lay down that impossible task. Do not be anxious about tomorrow. Why? Because I am already there. The same God who is with you in this present moment is already waiting for you in all of your tomorrows, and I hold all of your days securely in my hands. You have read my promise that my plans for you are for hope and a future, to prosper you and not to harm you. You must understand what this truly means. To prosper is not just about a healthy bank account or a life free of trouble. It is about the deep, unshakable well-being of your soul. It is about spiritual wholeness, a life rich in love, joy, and peace, regardless of your external circumstances. Your dreams and aspirations are precious. Do you think I do not see them? I planted many of them in your heart myself, but I want you to hold them with an open hand. Place them on the altar before me. This is not an act of abandoning your dreams. It is an act of entrusting them to the one who knows you and loves you perfectly. I will either fulfill them in a way that is far beyond what you could imagine, or I will gently replace them with something far better, something you would have chosen for yourself if you could see what I see. Your future is secure not because the path will be easy or free of challenges, but because I, your good and faithful shepherd, am your constant guide. The security is in the guide, not in the path. So, I call you back to this present moment. Life fully right here, right now. My grace is a daily provision, like the manna I gave my people in the wilderness. It is enough for today. You cannot stockpile it for tomorrow. When you try, all you gather is the dust of worry. Be present, right here with me. Fulfill the small acts of love and obedience I have placed before you today. In doing so, you are walking confidently toward the glorious future I have planned. The best is always yet to come for those who love me. Trust me with your tomorrow, and I will fill your today with my peace. The world speaks often of peace. For the world, peace is a fragile state that depends entirely on circumstances. It is a healthy bank account. It is the absence of conflict in your home. It is a good report from the doctor. It is a day where everything goes according to plan. This peace is fleeting because as soon as the circumstances change, and they always do, the peace evaporates and you are left scrambling in anxiety once again. I have a different kind of peace to offer you. The peace I give is not as the world gives. It is not dependent on your situation. It is a deep, internal calm, a supernatural tranquility that remains unshaken even when the storms of life are raging around you. It is a peace that stands guard over your heart when you receive bad news. It is a peace that quiets your spirit during a heated argument. It is a peace that holds you steady in the face of a terrifying future. It is a peace that surpasses, or goes beyond, all logical human understanding. It does not make sense to the world that you can be calm in the middle of chaos. But this is the reality I offer you. This peace is not something you can manufacture. You cannot achieve it through self-help techniques, meditation, or positive thinking, though those things may have their place. You cannot think your way into this peace. Why? Because it is a fruit of my spirit. It is a gift that grows within you as you abide in me. It is received, not achieved. It is the result of active, moment-by-moment trust. It is the quiet confidence that settles in your soul when you truly believe that I am in control, that I am good, and that I am with you. This peace is meant to be the guardian of your inner world. It stands like a sentinel at the door of your heart and your mind, protecting you from the onslaught of fear, worry, and anxiety. I want you to let this peace rule in your heart. Let it act as an umpire in your life. When you are faced with a decision and you feel this supernatural calm settling over one choice, that is my confirmation. When another choice stirs up anxiety and turmoil within you, that is my warning. Let my peace be your guide. This is not a distant, unattainable state reserved for a select few. This peace is your spiritual inheritance. It was purchased for you on the cross. It is your birthright as my child. When chaos rages around you, I command you to anchor your soul in me. Stop looking at the waves and look at me, the master of the wind and the sea. As you fix your gaze on me, as you surrender your need to control and understand, you will find this unexplainable peace settling over you, a quiet assurance that no matter what happens, all will be well. My child, somewhere along your journey, you may have picked up a wrong idea about me. You may see me as a stern, solemn God, one who is only concerned with rules, sacrifice, and the heavy matters of the soul. But I want you to look around. I am the author of joy. I created laughter. I invented the delicious taste of food, the beauty of a captivating song, the warmth of a deep friendship, the thrill of celebration. I did not create a black and white world of mere survival. I filled it with vibrant color, with texture, with flavor, with beauty, all for your enjoyment. Delight yourself in me, and also delight yourself in the good gifts I have given you. Every moment of pure, unadulterated joy you experience is a gift from my hand. It is a foretaste, a small echo of the eternal, unending delight you will one day experience in my heavenly kingdom. Do not rush past these moments. Savor them. I want you to celebrate. Celebrate the milestones, the birthdays, the anniversaries. Celebrate the small victories at work. Celebrate the simple pleasure of a quiet evening with your family. I know that sometimes you feel a strange guilt in being happy. You see the suffering in the world, or even in your own life, and you feel that it is somehow wrong or unspiritual to be joyful. Other times, you are afraid to embrace a happy moment, fearing that the other shoe is about to drop. Let go of this. I command you to rejoice. A grateful heart is a joyful heart. The practice of counting your blessings, of actively looking for and acknowledging the good things in your life, is the fertile soil in which joy grows. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, your entire perspective shifts. Your spirit is lifted, and your joy becomes a powerful witness. Let it be contagious. In a world drowning in cynicism and despair, your genuine, unforced joy is a beacon of light. It is a signpost that points others to me, the source of all true happiness. People will see the light in your eyes, the peace in your spirit even amidst trials, and they will ask you the reason for your hope. Do not think your happiness is a trivial thing. It is a form of worship. It is a declaration of trust in my goodness. And you must know this: I delight in you. The scriptures say, I sing and rejoice over you, my beloved child. Imagine that. Your heavenly Father, the creator of the universe, sings over you with joy. I am inviting you to join me in the song. I am Jehovah Rapha. This is one of my names. It means I am the Lord who heals you. It is not just something I do. It is who I am. I see your wounds, my child. I see the wounds on your body, the chronic pain, the frightening diagnosis, the physical limitations that frustrate you. I see the wounds in your mind, the scars of trauma, the chains of anxiety and depression, the relentless voices of self-criticism. And I see the deepest wounds of all, the wounds in your spirit, the broken heart from betrayal, the gaping hole left by grief, the ache of rejection. You have tried to manage these wounds on your own. You have tried to cover them up, to numb them, to pretend they aren't there. But they ache. They bleed. And they affect every part of your life. I am asking you now to bring me the broken pieces. Do not try to fix them first. Bring me your shattered heart, your exhausted body, your weary mind. I am the master artist, the one who can make you whole again. Healing is often a process, a journey, not an instantaneous event. There are times I heal in a moment, and we celebrate those miracles. But more often, I walk with you on a path to restoration, and I am with you in every single step. Your part is to trust the process, to cooperate with me as I gently cleanse the wound, apply the balm of my spirit, and bind it up with my love. My Son carried your sorrows and was wounded for your transgressions. The spiritual basis for your complete healing was secured on the cross. By His stripes, you are healed. This is a spiritual reality you can stand on. And a crucial key that unlocks the door to deep emotional healing is forgiveness. I know this is hard, but bitterness, resentment, and unforgiveness are poisons to your soul. They are like infections that prevent a wound from ever closing. When you choose to forgive those who have hurt you, releasing them to me, you are not letting them off the hook. You are taking the hook out of your own heart. You are opening yourself up to receive the healing I long to give you. Now, we must speak of the great mystery. There are times, in this broken world, when physical healing does not come in the way you have prayed for. This is not a sign of my displeasure or your lack of faith. It is a sign that this world is not your final home. And in those moments, I promise you a deeper healing, the grace to endure with peace, the strength to find purpose in your pain, and the unshakable promise of the ultimate healing, a new, glorified, perfect body that will be yours for all of eternity. Until that day, bring me your wounds. Let my healing hand rest upon you. My healing balm is mending the broken places in your soul even now. Do not move from this place of restoration just yet. To leave would be to walk away with a healing half received, a comfort half felt. My heart yearns to show you the ultimate justice that undergirds my love and the unchanging nature of that love, the very foundation of all your hope. The most important words are yet to be spoken. Do not grieve me by missing them. Your hands are clenched into fists. I see the fire in your eyes. A great injustice has been done to you, to someone you love, or to the innocent and vulnerable in the world. You have been cheated, betrayed, slandered, abused. You see the wicked prospering, the liars being promoted, the corrupt gaining power. And your soul cries out, "How long, O Lord? Where is the justice?" I hear that cry. It is a righteous cry, a reflection of my own heart, for I am a God of justice. The anger and helplessness you feel when you witness wrongdoing is a faint echo of my perfect and holy wrath against sin and oppression. Do not think for a moment that I am indifferent. I see every secret deal, every lie spoken in the dark, every tear of the oppressed. Nothing is hidden from my eyes, and I will make all things right. But I command you now, be still. Release your grip. Unclench your fists. Vengeance is mine. I will repay. You must entrust the act of ultimate judgment and retribution to me. Why? Because my justice is perfect, and yours is not. Your desire for justice can easily curdle into a bitter, personal need for revenge, which will poison your own soul. My justice is not just about punishment. It is about restoration. It is pure, wise, and always tempered with mercy. Trust that in my perfect time and in my perfect way, I will settle every account. No one gets away with anything. But while you wait for my ultimate justice, you are not called to be passive. You are called to be my agent of righteousness in the world. I have shown you what is good. And what do I require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with me. To act justly means to stand up for the vulnerable, to speak truth even when your voice shakes, to conduct your own affairs with unwavering integrity. To love mercy means to show compassion, to forgive as you have been forgiven, to look for opportunities for restoration rather than retribution. And to walk humbly means to recognize that you, too, are a sinner saved by grace, and it is not your place to stand in final judgment over another soul. Do not lose heart. The triumph of evil is always temporary. Its kingdom is built on sand. My kingdom of justice, righteousness, and peace will ultimately prevail and will have no end. For now, fight the battles I have called you to fight, and entrust the final outcome of the war to me. I am the righteous judge, and my verdict will be true. My child, we have talked about many things, your fears, your doubts, your struggles, and your hopes. But now, I want to bring you to the very center, the unshakable foundation of all reality. It is the truth upon which the entire universe is built. It is this: I love you. I know you have heard these words before. You have seen them on cards and heard them in songs. But I want you to truly hear them now, as a direct, personal, and life-altering declaration from me to you. The love you have known in this world, even at its best, is often conditional. It is based on performance, on approval, on meeting expectations. And so, deep in your soul, you carry a hidden fear that my love works the same way. You fear that your mistakes, your repeated failings, your seasons of spiritual coldness might finally be enough to make me turn away. You are afraid that one day you will cross a line and my love will be withdrawn. That fear is the bedrock of so much of your anxiety. Today, I want to shatter that fear with the force of my unchanging truth. The mountains may depart and the hills be removed, but my steadfast love for you will never, ever be shaken. My love is not based on your performance. It is based on my character. Is unconditional, unending, and unfailing because I'm unconditional, unending, and unfailing. It is a one-way love that flows from me to you, and it does not depend on what flows back. Do you hear me? There is nothing you can do to make me love you more, and there is nothing you can do to make me love you less. My love is a settled, eternal fact. What, then, can separate you from this love? Shall your troubles do it? Shall the hardship and distress you feel? Shall persecution or famine or financial ruin? Shall your fears for today or your worries about tomorrow? Shall the powers of hell themselves? I declare to you with all the authority of heaven that nothing, absolutely nothing in all of creation, will ever be able to separate you from my love that is revealed in Christ Jesus. The cross is the ultimate, historical, undeniable proof. I love you so much that I gave my only Son. That is the measure of my love. It is a love that would rather die than live without you. This is your identity. Before you are a worker, a parent, a spouse, or a friend, you are my beloved child, in whom I am well pleased. Rest in the security of that identity. Every other promise I have made to you, of guidance, of peace, of strength, of healing, stands upon this foundational truth. If you can dare to believe this one thing, that you are relentlessly and unconditionally loved by the God of the universe, then all the other promises become not just possible, but certain. My beloved child, as our conversation draws to a close for now, I want to lift your gaze one last time. I see your weariness. This world is beautiful, but it is also broken. Your journey here is filled with moments of breathtaking joy, but it is also marked by seasons of profound suffering. Your heart aches with the injustices you see, your body groans under the weight of decay, and your spirit longs for a place where all is made right. I want to affirm that longing in you, that ache for a better world, is not a fantasy. It is a memory of the perfect world I created and a prophecy of the perfect world I will restore. This world, as you know it, is not your final home. You are a citizen of heaven, a pilgrim passing through. I am preparing a place for you in my Father's house, a home where you truly and eternally belong. I do not say this to make you devalue your life on earth. Your life here matters immensely. But I want to give you an eternal perspective because it changes everything. Your present sufferings, the grief that feels like it will crush you, the pain that seems unending, the struggles that exhaust you, I know they are heavy. I do not diminish them. But I promise you, they are not worthy to be compared with the glory that will be revealed in you. They are temporary. They have an expiration date. One day I will welcome you home, and on that day, I will wipe every last tear from your eyes. It will be the struggles you face now will be a distant, forgotten memory, swallowed up by an ocean of unending joy. All the questions that plague your mind will be answered. All the injustices that break your heart will be made right. You will be whole, healed, and complete in a way you can barely even imagine now. This is not a hopeful wish, it is a certain destiny. So live your life on earth with this eternal perspective. Store up treasures in heaven, treasures of love, of faith, of service. Make choices that will echo for eternity. Do not be consumed by the temporary pursuits of this world. Fix your eyes on what is unseen, for what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. The best is yet to come. And until that day, Until you see me face to face, hold fast to this final, ultimate promise. I am with you always in this life and in the next, even to the very end of the age. Walk in the light of that promise. You are never alone. You now carry the unshakable promise of your eternal home, and this eternal perspective changes the value of everything on earth. As you hold this hope, you understand that your earthly resources are temporary, but their potential for impact is eternal. I have commanded you, store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, and this is your divine opportunity to do so. Your gift becomes an eternal investment, a beacon of light that helps guide other souls toward the home I am also preparing for them. This fleeting moment is your chance to convert what is temporary into what will last forever. I will not forget your work and the love you have shown for my name. Send your treasure ahead now through Super Thanks, a membership, or the PayPal link below, and know that your reward in heaven is great. My child, you have heard my voice, and this eternal truth now resides in your spirit. I am with you. Do not let this sacred moment pass into silence or be stolen by the noise that awaits. I call you now to make your faith a sound that shatters the darkness. Go to the space below this message and declare this unbreakable promise for all the heavens and the earth to witness. I am not alone, for my God is with me. Let your words become a weapon against your fear and a banner of hope for others to see. Your declaration is an echo of my promise, and I will meet you in the certainty of what you proclaim. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.